greatest of all teachers and giver of love, hope, faith, and wisdom, look upon your children, the teachers, learners, parents, guardians, and out-of-school youth and adults. We humbly ask for your mercy and forgiveness. Guide us to the right path. May our efforts be blessed with insights and understanding, wisdom and respect for all. Bless us with patience, for the path of learning is never easy. Bless our commitment to keep on learning new knowledge and experiences. Let your light shine upon us as we make our world a better place to live in. Amen.
Magandang araw! April Marcas po, ang inyong pretty ate sa EdTech Unit. Alam ba ninyo na may webinar o online training session ng EdTech Unit tuwing Sabado? Ang araw na ito ay nakalaan para sa ating mga mahal na kaguruan upang turuan sila ng mga bagong kaalaman at kakayahan sa paggamit ng makabagong software at applications para sa pinaka-epektibong paraan at lubos mapagpusay ang kanilang paraan ng pagtuturo. This is also a refresher session for our beloved teachers to enhance their skills in technology. Every Saturday, we will conduct webinar sessions for teachers about the use, advantages, and relevance of different blended learning software applications. Ang webinar seryeng ito ay magsisimula ng alas 9 ng umaga hanggang alas 12 ng tanghali para sa morning session. Magsisimula naman ng alauna at magtatapos ng alas 4 ng hapon ang afternoon session. You can watch us in our DepEd EdTech Unit Facebook page, Educational Technology Unit YouTube channel, DepEd Tayo, and DepEd Philippines. Kita-kits tayo tuwing Sabado!
Cognizant to the needs of our learners, parents, and teachers, the Department of Education provided us with powerful tools for productivity that will allow us to foster critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, communication and collaboration skills to be compassionate, responsible global citizens. Join us and discover new ideas in our series of professional development training program with the ICTS EdTech Unit and Microsoft Education Philippines. Together, we will equip our learners and empower our fellow educators for a dynamic future. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Sulong Edukalidad.
Hello! Hello! Isang magandang Saturday morning po sa lahat ng mga nanonood po sa ating live ngayong April 10. Hello, Jomar.
Yes. Hello, Grace. Pakilala muna tayo. Pangalan ko po ay Jomar De Leon, Education Program Manager ng Microsoft Philippines. At ang kasama ko ngayon ay aking fellow Education Program Manager from Microsoft, si Miss Grace ko. So, hi, Grace.
Hello.
Kami po ang magiging host nyo muna for the next 3 hours. Pero hindi po kami ang speakers nyo. So, kami muna ang host nyo. Liliban muna ang ating Teacher Robilin kasi po meron po siyang ibang importanteng ginagawa. And bago po ang lahat, gusto ko munang magpasalamat sa lahat ng mga umattend ng ating session last month. So last month po, ang ating TechTalks ay nag-feature ng kakaibang programa na tinatawag na STEM Heroes or 10 ng programa ng Microsoft na DigiGirls. So ito ay in celebration of female empowerment. And maraming salamat po at na-appreciate nyo at lahat po kayo ay nag-tune in every Saturday noon. Pwede nyo po siyang balikan ngayon sa ETU page kung gusto nyo. And sana po kahit tapos na ang Marso, kahit po tapos na ang International Women's Month, ang selebrasyon natin ng karapatan ng kababaihan ay gawin nating araw-araw. So maraming salamat po.
Yes, and at this point din, no, nais po naming batiin, of course, ang DepEd ICTS unit. Of course, ang Educational Technology unit na pinangunahan ni Sir Mark C. And of course, kasama si Sir Hamisal. Ang ating mga EdTech specialists na lagi nyo pong kasama halos everyday, no, dahil sa mga itulay sessions nyo. And of course, binabati na rin po namin sa Microsoft ang lahat ng aming Microsoft Education Ambassadors na kasama rin po natin sa ating live stream ngayon. In fact, every week po silang uma-attend at nagko-comment sa ating chat section. So sakali lang po meron kayong mga katanungan about Microsoft or anything about the webinar session that we will be conducting, andyan po sila sa ating comment section. So, good morning and thank you for being here. And of course, maraming salamat po sa lahat ng mga teachers na, ayan, dumadami na po sila at sumasali po sa ating live stream this morning. So, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat.
Magandang umaga at maraming salamat sa pag-attend ng session na to kahit na it's on a Saturday at kahit na lahat kayo ay probably nag-e-enjoy ng long weekend. And actually, no, yun yung gusto ko rin pasalamatan at bigyan ng take note. Kasi yung mga teachers natin parang wala silang holiday. Be it araw ng kagitingan, no, Day of Valor kahapon, they are really ensuring na lahat sila ay properly equipped ng mga tamang tools at lahat sila gumagawa ng sarili nilang homework and assignments to make sure na may continuity ang learning ng ating kabataan sa Pilipinas. So maraming salamat po sa inyong dedication at sa passion. Kung hindi po dahil sa inyo, hindi po makakapag-patuloy yung edukasyon ng Pilipinas.
Okay, so quick shoutout muna tayo sa ating mga manonood dahil mukhang all over the Philippines, no? Ganun naman talaga. Kaya masaya dito sa DepEd EdTech Unit mag-webinar kasi nga very represented ang buong Philippines. So kahit hindi tayo nakaka-travel, at least nasa webinar tayo, marami tayo namimit na taga Zamboanga City, taga Commonwealth, taga Isabela, taga Parañaque. Saan pa? Dami ko nakita. Samar. Yan. Basta, ang dami. Kidapawan.
Ang dami.
Mula Batanes hanggang Holo. Represented ang mga teachers dito sa ating webinar. So, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you. So ngayon pag-usapan natin, ano ba ang session natin today? Ano ba yung title ng ating session today? So anong ang matututunan natin for today? So let's see kung ano ang ating title slide for today. Yan. So, ang ating session today tinatawag na Teaming Up for Solution. And bakit kaya teaming up for solutions, Grace?
Kasi, alam ko na, sabi mo nga, Jomar, no, last March, we were all parang talking about STEM at ang dami natin mga inspirational speakers. Now, dahil medyo mahaba yung break natin sa paggamit ng at pag-discuss ng Office 365 at Microsoft Teams, for this morning, we will actually be giving you a refresher course on Microsoft Teams. Dahil yun nga, lately, no, ang dami rin po namin nakikitang screenshots, mga posts, and mga nagkikwento na ginagamit na nga nila ang Microsoft Teams sa pagtuturo, pati sa mga online classes. So we'll give you a refresher on that. At syempre later, bibigyan na rin po namin kayo ng mga bagong tips kung paano ba mas smarter natin gamitin itong Microsoft Teams.
And hindi siya doon nagtatapos kasi kaya rin po kami nandito ngayon at we took the time talaga para kausapin din kayo is because we want to emphasize one very important thing. Ngayon nga na prolonged ang ating period of isolation. So itong teaming up for solution, when we say solution, this is not just about productivity. Hindi lang po ito tungkol sa Microsoft, hindi lang po ito tungkol sa aming produkto. Ito po ay tungkol sa inyong wellness din, sa inyong productivity, and a little bit of our anecdotal or mga experience na tips na alam naman namin na sana kahit paano ay makatulong sa inyo ngayong meron tayong extended period of isolation habang kinakaharap natin pa rin ang COVID-19. So sa lahat ng mga nakikinig, bukod sa maraming salamat, please make sure na kung lalabas tayo, hindi natin maiwasang lumabas, make sure na ito ay laging essential. So yun lang po, at always follow the health protocols, wear your mask. Kasi yun nga, no, yung pag-uusapan din natin, Grace, before we say that the pandemic is parang palapit siya ng palapit, makakakilala natin yung mga nagkakasakit. Pero right now, I think it's safe to say na hindi siya palapit ng palapit. It's already here. And that's why sa lahat ng mga nakikinig ngayon, please exercise lahat ng safety na kaya nyo, not just for yourself, pero para sa inyong mga katrabaho, kapamilya, lahat ng mga kaibigan.
Mm-mm.
So, make your household safe. So, yon yung session
Yeah.
natin ngayon, Teaming Up for Solutions, is a refresher course both on Microsoft Teams, and we'd like to share a little bit kung ano yung mga tingin namin ay makakatulong sa inyo on how we can team up for solutions in this extended period of isolation. So, let's not get it any more longer. So, let's go to sa ating first slide. So yun, ang una nating gustong talakayin ay probably this quote. Let's open this session with this very, very powerful quote.
Mm.
Aligned dun sa ating session nga na Teaming Up for Solution. So, ito ay galing sa isang author na gumawa ng autobiography nung panahon ng
Mm.
pandemic. So, nakapag-publish po siya ng libro nung panahon nung pandemic. So,
Productive
sabi niya,
siya.
productive siya, no? So,
Oo.
instead of shutting ourselves off in fear or becoming victims or part of the problem, we became a solution. So,
Mm.
this is very important, and actually, this is already something na ginagawa na ng bawat teacher and bawat DepEd personnel and bawat guro na
Mm.
nakikinig ngayon. You are now part of the solution. And even sa lahat ng mga nakikinig right now, empowering themselves, you are part of the solution. Kasi you are taking your time to learn something new na magagamit nyo eventually. So 1 year in kasi in this kind of situation na medyo, aminin natin, challenging, right? Aminin natin, very challenging. 1 year in, dapat natututo na rin tayo kung paano mag-adapt, paano mag-manage, and paano mag-ride dito sa situation na to. So again, no, we understand that surviving is different from living, pero at the end of the day, we have to adapt. So let's take time to
Right.
discover paano natin ma-utilize yung ating oras sa period of isolation. So yung productivity and wellness should always go hand in hand. So yung mga teachers again na audience nito, and even yung mga DepEd personnel, lahat ng mga nanonood nito, even the students, you are part of this kind of solution. So ngayon, let's take time to learn something new, equip yourself, and empower others. Okay? So paano natin ito magagawa? Let's go to our next slide para sa ating quick talking points. Ano nga ba, paano tayo makaka-get by? Okay, so first, invest on yourself. So, sa amin lang din naman to, no? When you say investing on yourself, it doesn't necessarily mean reading books. Hindi siya laging about pagbabasa. It can be nanonood kang pelikula, nanonood ka ng documentary, kumakausap ka ng iba. So, case in point is, meron tayong hawak na oras, and hanggat may hawak tayo na oras, let's invest in ourselves. So, in my case, to share lang din, no, Grace, is I read a lot. Ikaw
Yeah.
ba, how do you invest in yourself in this kind of situation?
Ako I also read, pero most of the time since my Netflix, so nanonood ako ng mga movies, at mga series, no. Yon. So as simple as that actually.
As simple as that, kasi others would say, ayoko magbasa kasi boring. It's not my way to invest myself. And that's your preference, no? Kanya-kanya po tayo. Pero it depends kung ano yung binabasa mo. And yung iba naman sinasabi na ayaw nila manood ng TV. Ayaw nila mag-Netflix kasi parang wala silang natututunan. But then again, depende siya, ano bang pinapanood mo? Right? So, depende siya sa ganun. So, align with that, Grace. Curious to know, baka gusto mo i-share, ano ang binabasa mo ngayong libro, if ever meron?
I'm actually reading something about conquering the fear of public speaking. So,
Oh, wow.
binabasa ko siya. I mean, hindi naman ako takot. Grabe, no? Natatakot pa rin ako magsalita publicly. Pero alam mo yun, kasi if you equip yourselves with, yun nga, parang techniques, mas nakakonquer mo siya. And I'm reading it because gusto kong mas matutunan yung foundations para maturuan ko rin yung ibang tao. So, yun yung
And evident yun ngayon kasi andito ka. So sa lahat ng mga nakikinig, if ever meron kayong libro na binabasa or series na pinapanood na may mga natututunan kayong bago, please do share it sa ating comment box, and we'd love to hear ano ba itong mga to. Sa akin naman, interestingly, gusto ko lang din i-share dahil sa ako'y nagbabasa.
Ano ba binabasa mo ngayon?
Ito'y kakaiba. Non-fiction siya. Usually fiction yung binabasa ko. Pero ito, kung nababasa nyo, and
The
ito ang
Secret
ating
Lives of Color.
Yeah, so ito rin ang naging basis ng title ng ating last session dito sa ETU, The Secret Lives of Data.
Oo.
So, ngayon ito yung The Secret Lives of Color. So, iba-iba siyang kulay per chapter. So, kaya ito yung binasa ko kasi alam mo yun, wala siya masyadong commitment, hindi siya tuloy-tuloy. Kahit 3 pages, isang kulay, matututunan mo kung ano yung history behind that color. And it offers me fresh perspective ngayong period of isolation. Kasi for example, color blue. So apparently, sa lahat ng mga favorite
Mm.
color, so share nyo kung ano yung favorite color nyo dyan sa ating comment box.
Green.
Sa mga green. Ako kasi blue, kaya yun yung natandaan ko. So sa mga kapareho ko na favorite color ng blue, apparently ang kulay asul ay ang huling kulay na nakita ng mata ng tao. And even sa Bible, even sa Greek history, walang mention na kulay blue ang sky, kahit na merong mention na kulay pula ang dugo, na kulay gold or dilaw ang araw, pero blue yung blue yung apparently late yung ating mata para ma-recognize. It's very interesting kasi now tuloy it offers me a fresh perspective kahit pitchel na kulay blue. Parang doon ako na drawing na bawat nakikita natin na maliliit na bagay ay may story behind it. And it's very important to note that in this period of isolation that we appreciate those small little things to get by.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
invest in ourselves and we appreciate those little things. So
Yeah.
moving forward, ano pa yung mga ways natin to get by, Grace?
Yeah. So the second bullet is taking mental breaks. So easier said than done actually kasi alam mo yon, pag usually na-immerse ka sa work tapos tuloy-tuloy yung paggawa mo ng modules, tuloy-tuloy yung meetings, para ang hirap din mag-rest, 'di ba? Pero for me what really works is taking those pockets of mental brain breaks, allowing myself 5 minutes to wala akong gagawin talaga for 5 minutes, magti-TikTok muna ako or maglalakad ako sa labas. Kukuha ako ng kape. And alam mo, believe it or not, yung small, yung maiksing period na yon na you allow yourself to really take a break, take a pause, sobrang helpful siya for me kasi parang yun yung time for me to recharge and actually parang, refill myself. Kasi diba sabi nga nila, yung trabaho at saka yung schoolwork, hindi yan nauubos, pero yung tao nauubos yan. Kaya dapat marunong tayong recharge. So ako, ang ginagawa ko, yun, naglalakad ako sa garden, kinakausap ko yung mga plants. Yun. Yun yung aking brain break. So, yeah, I don't know if you also practice this, Joms. Do you also take your own mental breaks?
Yung mental, ako naman yung tao na kapag pinag-mental break mo, mas marami akong iniisip. So, hindi ako na,
Yeah,
di ba, iba siya per tao. So, ako naman yung personality ko is kapag total silence, I end up being stressed more. And that is something na ayoko na naman mangyari. That's why I take the time to read. So, when I want to learn something new, I read. Pero when I want naman na para mag-detox or etc., I read something else or I watch something else. Even yung mga funny things na nakikita natin sa TikTok, yung mga funny things na nakikita natin sa Netflix, sa Facebook, those things are actually important.
Yeah.
Humanities and art is equally as important as scientific endeavors. So, dahil sa pag-appreciate natin sa mga ganitong klaseng mga products of creativity, kumbaga, ng ating fellow members na nasa isolation, tayo ay nagtitake ng time off, nagsiserve siya both as a learning experience, as a distraction, and also in some form of meditation. So, ang dami na actually usong ganun. Yung iba, they just rather binge watch people singing, even cat videos, even dog videos. And it's not something that, easily natin ma-judge kasi we have to get by and appreciate those small stuff. So, iba-iba siya. Like, sa'yo, you're talking to your plant. So, kamusta naman yung mga plants mo ngayon? Sinagot ka na ba?
Ayaw nilang tumubo. So, baka feel nila nagbabounce off yung aking stress sa kanila.
Kailangan mo pagtugtugan ng classical music.
Kailangan ko sayawan yung aking plans. Yun. Pero di ba like for example, may mga webinars tayong ganito. Kung mapapansin nyo rin, no, pag nag-webinars kayo, from time to time, may mga breaks talaga yan. At saka intentional din yung ginagawa, at least for us when we organize our webinars. Kasi nga, pag sobrang tagal mo nakababa din sa isang certain topic, of course, alam niyo naman, human tendency yan na nagzo-zone off tayo, hindi natin na-absorb. So, kaya that's why we do breaks para ma-recharge tayo ulit. Break the monotony, di ba? Break the monotony of it. Parang do something else and then para mas kaya natin bumalik in the zone ulit. So, yon.
That is true kasi tomorrow is always another day. So, kung kahit gaano tayo ka dami ng ginagawa, both personally and, professionally, and sa inyo
Right.
naman, sa case ng education, sa dami ng workload nyo, at the end of the day, tomorrow is another day, and we are only as good as how we make our 24 hours to be, how we maximize it. And yung productivity na yan na ginagawa natin should always go hand in hand with wellness. So, do you have
Right.
any other tips, Grace, on how we can balance tong productivity and wellness?
Yeah, so the third point is actually balancing productivity and wellness. So I don't know if you've heard kasi of that term na working hard versus working smart. Di ba sabi nga nila, pag hardworking ka, you will exert your mental energy, physical energy to complete a task without doing any shortcuts kasi feeling mo yun yung ano mo yun yung parang hard work mo. Pero may concept din kasi ng working smart wherein you aim for the same goal but you actually look for ways for you to prioritize your tasks and be more productive. So, yun yung I think yun din yung muscle na gusto nating matutunan ng bawat teacher tsaka syempre bawat manggagawa, 'di ba, na let's try to work smarter. Let's leverage on the tools that's being given to us. Let's also learn how to prioritize our tasks in a way na hindi tayo umuoo sa lahat at kaya rin nating ibalanse pa rin in a way na meron pa natitira for ourselves. And yun nga, kasi the more that we say yes to everything, dun din kasi tayo nauubos di ba? So we just, we know how to balance it out in a way na yun nga, productive ka pa din, pero hindi ka sobrang ubos na ubos.
Ito
So
yung
I think,
tinatawag na ito yung tinatawag, Grace, na burnt out.
that's a very true. That's a I think mas marami na tayong nakikitang ganyang words lately. And ako din, I mean, kahit ako, I often fall prey to that kasi nga I have lalo na kasi ngayon, di ba, pag remote work, parang nasa bahay ka, tapos mas marami kang free time kasi hindi ka bumabiyahe. Di ba, yun naman yung dati, bumabiyahe tayo, tapos yung 1 hour mo spent in biyahe. So at least kahit pa paano nakaka-relax ka sa biyahe ng ito kasi parang may idle time ka na 1 hour. So mag-iisip ka ngayon, shucks, ano ba pwede kong gawin para mas ma-fill up ko yung 1 hour na yun? Ano ba pang added task na pwede kong gawin na, ayun na, wala na, hindi mo na ma-blur yung personal life mo sa work life mo. Di ba?
Yes, that is true. Kaya nga, yung mga sinasabi natin before na sana hindi natin tingnan or hindi natin maniliitin kasi at the end of the day, in our 24 hours, yung mga maliliit na stuff na yun would matter. Yung mga mental breaks na yun, yung 15 minutes na yan, yung 10 minutes na yan, yung 5 minutes, depende kung gaano ka kalakas mag-workout. In my case, siguro 10 minutes. I admit. Depende kung gaano ka kalakas ang stamina mo or even sa maglalaan ka maglaro ng games or kumausap ng iyong mga friends or even again magbasa kasi you have a lot of shows, you have a lot of books, you have a lot of documentaries. The internet is here, so we can always make use of it. It's our platform kung paano tayo makaka-discover ng something new. Be it something na gusto mo bang matuto ng other language? O, speaking of that, Grace, in balancing productivity and wellness and investing in yourself, ano yung something na natutunan mong bago in this 1 year in the pandemic?
Marunong na ako magluto. Congrats sa mga bagong sa mga bagong cook at bakers dyan. Mga ube pandesal at dalgona coffee. Yan yung mga natutunan ko this pandemic.
Hopefully turuan mo din ako that I can manage my stress kung paano magluto. Kasi feeling ko naman, pag ako ay nagluto, lalo ako masistress. Dun sa aking niluto, usually lagi siyang mas maalat or etc. So, sa mga nakikinig din today, no, how are you managing this? Ano yung mga activities nyo nga na ginagawa? So, kanina, nakapagbasa ko yung iba nanonood ng beauty pageants.
Oh, yeah.
Di ba, kakaiba? It's
super nakakawala talaga ng stress.
Pinoy. Yeah, nakakawala ng stress. Pinoy na Pinoy. Ang panonood ng beauty pageants, there is something about it that is intrinsically Filipino na nanonood ng beauty pageants.
Yes, nagiging united. United na united tayo
tumitigil ang
lahat.
ano,
Oo.
tumitigil
Yes.
ang mundo. Para
Oo. Mm.
para lang manood ng finals ng B2K. Actually, hindi na po kami
Mm.
updated right now. Meron ba tayong bagong pageant? So if ever meron, balitaan nyo kami. So yun,
Mm.
again, for iba-iba siya per tao. So si Grace, na nagsasalita sa mga halaman, kinakausap ang mga halaman, certified plantita na tinatawag, nanonood din ng mga shows. Ano pinapanood mo ngayong shows na gusto, kaya natin i-share at gusto mo share?
Nanonood ako ng Korean drama.
Oh,
Sisyphus yung title. So, para sa mga K-drama enthusiast natin dyan.
bakit Sisyphus ang title? If I may ask, very quick lang.
Kasi ano
Very
daw siya from the
interesting.
Greek mythology. Yung Sisyphus is the one na
Cheat ng
nagtutulak ng
death.
rock, paakyat sa taas, tapos bumabalik yung rock. So, parang paulit-ulit din yung story kasi. So, may time travel, may science and fiction, may ganon.
Interesting. That's why I asked kasi like unlike you Grace, hindi ako masyado into K-drama, but you know, I'm into reading Greek stuff. So Sisyphus, lumabas siya dati. Si Sisyphus yun yung punishment niya for cheating death.
Yeah.
Kaya
Yeah.
siya
Kaya
nagtutulak.
paulit-ulit,
Oo, it's not
Paulit-ulit
something na
natin.
gugustuhin mo araw-araw, and it's something nga kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng ganitong session to break away from the repetition of everyday isolation. So it's very important then to note. And keeping that sa eternal punishment na yan ni Sisyphus na naman, habang buhay nagbubuhat ng boulder, this repetitive stuff, no? And this is why we are also encouraging you to break away from this kind of routine and reach out to others. So you can always take time to invest in yourself, take that mental break, always make sure to be productive. You can always do that by yourself. But at the
Right.
end of the day, yung famous saying that we don't live, parang no man's an island, right? Hindi tayo na bubuhay na pang atin lang. So we are a very social people, and this is why in this period of isolation, it is very important to always reach out to others. And this is something na dapat hindi natin tinitake for granted this pandemic. Kasi at the end of the day, pag wala tayo masyadong makausap, things are bottled up and things are becoming heavier sa iniisip natin. And yung mga inaakala natin na hindi natin kayang gawin, lahat siya pumapasok in our heads kapag wala tayong masyadong ginagawa and kapag wala rin tayong makausap. And since kung tayo ay may internet connection, kung tayo ay may load, kung tayo ay mayroong extra time, let's make use of that to rekindle past connections natin. So ikaw ba Grace, how do you do this? How do you exercise reaching out to others, if you can share?
Yeah, actually sa akin baliktad kasi nga ever since I started working from home, mas mahaba yung time for me to actually sit down and talk physically to the people sa aming bahay. So before kasi no hindi ako work from home, parang nagte-text-text na kami ng mommy ko and daddy ko, pero ngayon nakakausap ko na sila. I make sure that every time na dinner, talagang kasama ko na sila ngayon kumain. So yun yung mga I think yun yung mga small moments I think that I'm also thankful for, grateful for, no? Kasi yun nga, mas open na yung communication namin ngayon na magkakasama kami sa bahay. Pero though, pag lagi din kami magkatapat, minsan nag-aaway na kami ng kapatid ko, pero sana hindi niya napapanood tong webinar. Alam mo yun, pero diba, yun yung, for me, that's how I value the communication ngayong time ng pandemic.
Sa case naman namin ng Grace, kami naman sa circle of friends, almost every Friday dati, we get together. We we eat together. We eat in a new restaurant, or even every 3 months or every 4 months. Kung kaya ng budget, kung super kaya ng budget, pinag-iipunan namin is to travel and discover new cultures. Go to a different country, go to a different city, tingnan natin kung paano kaiba mamuhay, gaano kaiba yung lengguwahe. So yun yung learning experience sa amin. And sa mga nakikinig, I know that's millennial na millennial isipin, pero that's how we cope. So it's been quite hard for us and quite challenging for us ngayon na restricted ang ating mobility because of this pandemic. So how do we make do with it? Minsan po, pinapatulan na namin ang mga Apple Map, ang Google Maps. Nagsasearch na kami ng places Ang minsan pinapatulan
Very
namin ang
smart.
we go din sa mga street view, pinapatulan
Mm-mm.
na namin ng mga travel documentaries. We do watch it, or sometimes we take a look or our previous photos or travel photos and reshare and relive or para ma-experience namin ulit ano yung mga nangyari nung panahon na yon, ano
Ah,
yung nakakatawa, how we can do this better, paano natin mamamanage ang ating budget trip better the next time, and
ah.
ando din yung konting wishful thinking. So, in a way, dun kami nagbabond ngayong pandemic na kapag nagchat-chat kami, be it Facebook, be it Messenger, kaya kung ano man,
Yeah.
kung Viber, kung ano man yung gamit ng platform for communication, uh, pinag-uusapan namin yan na parang kapag wala ng pandemic, pag wala ng restriction, pag okay na ang lahat, saan ka
Mm-mm.
unang pupunta? So, ikaw, Grace,
Mm-mm.
ano yung una mong pupuntahan? Be it place na babalikan or something new?
Babalik akong QC. Kasi
Babalik ka.
Nasa
Layo.
Mindanao ako ngayon eh.
Ang layo naman. ano ang bivisit mo sa QC? Anong namimiss mo sa Quezon City?
Yung trinoma. Alam mo, sobrang trivial, pero alam mo, yun kasi yung, di ba, yun yung mga puntahan sa North. So, sobrang tagal ko na hindi nakatapak sa trinoma. So, humanda ka sa akin, trinoma, sa pagbabalik ko.
And that's important, I guess, no? Yung mga things that we used to take for granted before, right?
Yes,
We
that's
always,
true.
I'm not saying na gusto ko siya forever mangyari. Pero yung
Mm-mm.
lagi nating kino-complain na traffic ng EDSA, yung lagi nating kino-complain na hustle and bustle sa Metro Manila. So mga nakikinig kasi, ngayon, I'm also working from home here in Bacoor, Cavite. So kudos sa mga taga Calabarzon. So kung may mga nakikinig dyan from Calabarzon and Davao, please do have a shout out. We want to know where you're from and kung may kasama pa kami ditong malapit. So yung mga ganong taking things for granted nung panahon na hindi ganun ka-restricted yung mobility, that back and forth tayo sa city, ano yung convenience na nadadala. So, medyo nakakamiss manood ng sine.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Yung mga nakakamiss mag-dine in. Akalain mo yon no, before pinag-aawayan anong kakainin natin sa labas, pwede ba mag-take out na lang tayo.
Mm-mm.
I think after pandemic, consensus ng lahat kumain tayo sa labas.
Mm.
Let's take something new. How about sa travels mo, Grace? Meron ka pa bang ibang gusto? And yung sa pag-reach out mo dun sa friends, do you commonly reach out sa friends mo?
Yeah, I mean, mas marami na ngayong akong ka-chat. Kasi nga, yun, mas marami na. Lahat naman tayo online. Karamihan sa atin online. So, mas frequent na yung communications for now. So,
Mm-mm.
yun din. Oo.
Kasi ngayon ang remote ang lahat, So again,
Mm-mm.
in reaching out others, yung gusto lang din namin i-emphasize doon is, please do reflect. Kailan ka last time nakipag-communicate? And how can you be part of someone else's solution?
Yeah,
Not someone else's problem, but someone else's solution.
correct.
So again, it all goes in balancing productivity and wellness. So again, can you refresh us, guys? Paano kaya yung ganon?
Right. So, I mean, the tips that we shared today, I mean, these are just our top of mind. I'm sure all of us,
Yes.
have our own way of coping up with this pandemic and, be ensuring that we're still able to balance our productivity and at the same time, take care of ourselves, take care of our students. So, work man yan or life man yan, I think lahat naman tayo ay talagang may stake on how can we become part of the solution. The saying goes, right, that it really takes a village to raise a child more than ever. Every stakeholder of that village in this pandemic must work extra harder for us to be able to really attend to the child, attend to the student. And yun nga, kaya marami tayong sessions like this, may mga webinars tayong ganito to remind us na, yun nga, since may stake tayo, we also need to know how to take care of ourselves and, be more productive. So with that being said, maraming salamat for listening sa aming mga tips ni Jomar. So at this point now, we would like to move on to the next part of our session wherein we will again refresh, introduce to you, and share to you some tips on how you can actually leverage on some technology solutions so that you can be more smarter in the way you work and the way you teach your students. So Joms, pakilala mo na ang ating speaker for today.
Pretty sure kung kayo ay sumubaybay ng mga nakaraang linggo, kilala nyo na siya. So ang speaker natin today, to feature yung deep dive, ano ba itong mga tools na kaya nating gamitin to maximize our productivity ngayong panahon ng isolation and to work smart ay walang iba kundi ang ating Microsoft Global Training Partner na Audentes Incorporated. And this is headed by Mr. Francis Hernandez. And si Mr. Francis Hernandez ay ang General Manager at Co-Founder actually ng Audentes. So big time tayo ngayon. So siya ay skilled sa sales, strategic planning, business model, innovative and marketing strategy, and cloud computing. So bilang advocate mismo ng education. So ginagamit niya yung kanyang time and expertise to provide schools with a technological edge to stand out and para ma-equip kayong lahat. Ano yung mga tamang tools, mga tamang skills, tamang competencies para mag-thrive ngayong digital age at lalo na't ngayon lahat ay remote. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Francis Hernandez. Hi,
Hi. Hi.
Francis.
Hi, Joms. Hi, Grace. Good
Hello.
morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, so it's us again. Welcome back. Okay, sa ating Saturday session, and I'd like to say hi to all our educators across the Philippines, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. I know it's after holiday, then now it's Saturday. I know majority of our audience, especially for educators, this is the time to recharge, right? To recharge and maybe spend time with the family. I know majority naman will be working from home, but syempre even if you're working from home, ano pa rin you need to set boundaries, like especially if it's working hours. And ang ganda ng tip na binigay sa atin ng ating speakers for this morning, especially Grace and Jomar, no? So I just want to give emphasis dun sa binanggit nila, like investing on yourself, taking mental break, balancing and reaching out. So from my end, before we jump to our session this morning, I'd like to give emphasis doon sa part ng taking mental break. So I actually do that a lot, and siguro to help our educators, especially when you're doing your maybe webinar, online classes, or meeting, like conference meeting with your peers or with your colleague. Invest time in in having like your mental break, or for example your productivity time. Sa akin, siguro to share to our audience, my technique, again it varies depending on sa mga individual. My technique is I do a lot of like series of 30 minutes productivity. Like for example, 30 minutes, I would be reading a lot of email and responding to those emails. So that would be my 30 minutes. Then I'll have like a quick break, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, just to maybe drink coffee or maybe have bite some snacks, Then I go back again to my chair, working chair, and proceed with with work ulit for 30 minutes lang, roughly mga 30 to 35 minutes. Then that would be a series of maybe sending of email, or maybe that would be checking my calendar. So yun, 30 minutes ulit yon. Then break again, because the challenge is if you do like straight like 4 hour session or maybe straight 5 hour session, you'll feel super tired. Then after nun, super uh,
Green.
drain ka na talaga. And the following day, it will be parang like a cycle na mahirap nang i-break.
Correct.
If that would
That's
be your
super
approach.
true.
Yes. So, yan, medyo mahirap yon. And if you will do it for, like me, I've been working from home together with our team po for almost more than a year. More than a year na po. Starting March of last year, work from home till this very day. Work from home. So yun po yung scenario namin. But good thing is working from home sa amin po, siguro ma-share ko lang din, nakakatuwa because working from home, instead of spending time, kasi I live at Quezon City, I stay at Quezon City, so our office is in Makati. So typically, if you'll factor in the travel time, our travel time is 2 hours going to office and 2 hours going back. So that's 4 hours. So with that 4 hours, nawala na po yun. So na-convert siya to productivity, in some way. So nakatulong siya in some aspect, yung pandemic, to be honest. In the on a sense of productivity. No? So later we'll be showing a lot of things about productivity, especially with your existing Microsoft tools. No? So yun yung magiging topic namin for this morning. Okay? So how about you, Grace and Jomar? I know you meron kayong mga siguro share later during our
Mm.
breaks, especially sa mga productivity tool that we
Yeah.
will be discussing this morning. Okay? So with that, I'll be without further ado, I'd like to introduce I'm also excited to introduce our next speaker. No, so our next speaker will be covering more of the Microsoft Office 365 overview, and at the same time a Microsoft Teams fundamental. So they will our pool of trainers will be discussing things about Microsoft 365. How can you be more productive in delivering maybe your online classes? That could be one. Or maybe to deliver maybe your own webinar if you have your own webinar, or just your pure meeting. Like for example, di ba pag nasa school tayo, typically faculty members or teachers, they do have like sessions with those with their fellow educators, especially if they are discussing things that like for example like yung group of English teachers, they could have maybe like brainstorming what would be the next thing that could excite their student, or maybe the group of science teacher or STEM teachers are discussing what are the online tools that they can use
Mhm.
in delivering online classes. No, so yun. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our next speaker. So our next speaker is a experienced speaker. I believe nakita niyo siya during our past few Saturdays. That would be 4 Saturdays nung STEM Heroes. I don't know if you can recall that. That was last month lang po. STEM Heroes. Siya po si Teacher Mardy Quaresma, and one of our hosts for the month of March. So I know you're very much familiar with her. So again, Teacher Mardy is a long-time educator. She has an experience working in Singapore as an educator. Now coming back in the Philippines as a master trainer for Audentes technologies, she'll be sharing a lot of things about the productivity tools of Microsoft. At the same time, she'll walk you through on the agenda for this morning. Okay, so with that, Teacher Marty, are you in the? Can you open your camera at the same time? Open your microphone. Hello, Teacher Marty.
Hello po,
Hello.
good morning. Good morning, Miss Grace. Good morning, Sir Jomar and Sir Francis. At magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat na nanonood sa ating webinar series for this morning.
Yeah.
Ayan.
Okay. So I'll be giving you the floor, Teacher Marty, and for now, teachers and fellow educator, please enjoy the session. And as mentioned, if you feel like you need to have breaks, okay lang po yun as long as kasi ang maganda naman po sa platform natin,
Mm.
it's live and you can always go back and watch it again. And take your break. Take your break if you would want to have like your quick coffee break, or maybe your like a bite of your snack. Don't worry, pwede po kayong like stretching maybe every after maybe 30 or 40 minutes, no. So if you feel like too much information are coming in, no, so just a tip as a coming from me, kasi po we've been doing a lot of webinars and those are the feedback that we are hearing from our audience. Grace, do you have something to add?
We'll see you later. So again, pag meron po kayong questions, type nyo lang po sa inyong comment sections, and then our team and our Microsoft Education ambassadors will be there to answer. So enjoy!
Yeah.
Enjoy the session, guys.
Okay, so para po simulan na ang ating session, i-share ko po muna sa inyo ang ating program agenda para sa araw na ito para po mag-guide kayo kung ano po ang may expect nyo sa ating session for this morning. So, slide please. Ayan. So, habang nag-aantay po, magandang umaga po ulit sa inyong lahat. So, ngayon, sa una pong part po ng ating session for this morning ay ang introduction to Microsoft 365. So, yung Microsoft 365 po, yung accounts nyo na makikita niyo po yung mga applications and tools, lahat po ng Microsoft applications and tools na naka-connect po sa inyong account. So, kayo po ba, ano po bang mga familiar sa inyo na Microsoft 365 na application and tools? Paki-type na lang po sa ating meeting chat, gaya po ng Word, PowerPoint, Excel. So, ano pa po ba yung mga nagamit nyo na po ng mga Microsoft 365 tools? So, paki-type na lang po sa ating meeting chat. Dahil pagkatapos po niyan, ang susunod naman po ay ang ating Microsoft Teams as a virtual learning environment. So, ayan, nakita ko nga po yung Microsoft Teams. Yan po ang magiging focus po talaga natin sa araw na ito. So, sa unang part po ng ating Microsoft Teams na discussion, ipapakita po namin sa inyo kung ano po yung interface ulit, kung paano gumawa ng mga teams at ng mga channels, at yung mga iba't ibang ang mga iba't ibang teams na pwede nyo pong magawa. Depende po sa inyong pangangailangan. Ayan. Susunod naman po ay ang ating mga tools kung paano nyo po ma-enhance ang inyong class engagement, lalong-lalo na ngayong panahon po ng pandemic na online classes po lahat ng ating platform. So marami pong tools na i-share sa inyo mamaya ang ating next speaker, kagaya po ng mga paano yung mga GIF sa ating Microsoft Teams, pag-post ng mga conversations at yung mga updated tools na meron ngayon sa Microsoft Teams. After po niyan, magkakaroon po tayo ng 5-minute quick break. At pagkatapos po noon, tutuloy po ang ating session para naman po sa mga pwede nating i-apply na teaching strategies within Microsoft Teams. So, nandyan po yung kung familiar po kayo sa class notebook, paano po yung pag-share ng mga files. So, mamaya po, yan po yung magiging discussion para sa part na yan. At ang huli po ay measuring student learning. So, syempre po sa ating mga klase, kahit po doon pa sa ating physical classroom, ay kailangan na po natin ng mga evaluation and assessment tools. So dito rin po sa Microsoft Teams, meron pong mga evaluation and assessment tools po tayong magagamit para po sa ating online classes. Pagkatapos po niyan, ulit isang quick break or Kahoot game. So mabilisan po laro ito para lang po ma-check natin kung ano po yung mga natutunan natin or mga naalala natin sa ating discussion na ngayong morning. At kung may mga katanungan po kayo, ilagay niyo lang po, i-type niyo po sa ating chat box at sasagutin po namin yon para sa session na to. At sa huli pong part ay makakakuha po kayo ng certificate. Pag natapos niyo po yung ating session, makakakuha po kayo ng Microsoft Innovative Educator Certificate. Ayan. Nakikita ko po, ayan, gusto ko, ayan, whiteboard. Makikita nyo rin po yan mamaya. OneDrive, definitely po. Streams, ayan. Sway, maganda nga po yung Sway. So, online platform yan, Sway, para sa ating mga presentation na pwede natin gawin online. Ayan, ang dami nyo naman po palang alam ng mga Microsoft applications and tools. At maganda po yan dahil po sa susunod na discussion ng ating Microsoft 365, doon niyo po makikita yung mga tools na binanggit niyo po sa ating meeting chat. Next slide, please. Yan. So without further ado, ito na po ang ating Microsoft 365. Okay, inag-aayos lang po tayo. While waiting po para po sa ating Microsoft 365 na video. Ayan. Microsoft Forms. Ayan, may mga bago po ako nakikita dito na tools at applications na sinasabi nyo. Ayan, syempre meron po tayo yung Microsoft PowerPoint, Excel, and Word, yung ating mga sikat na mga Microsoft applications. Sway, Forms. Yung Forms po, mababanggit po yan mamaya sa ating evaluation part ng Microsoft Teams natin this morning. Outlook. Ayan, Outlook. Gamit na gamit nga po yan ngayon kasi lalo na pag magsisend po tayo ng mga communication, email blast sa ating mga colleagues. Useful na useful po talaga yan. Ano pa? Tsaka ayan, gusto ko nga rin po yung Outlook kasi marami ka rin pong magagawa dun, yung parang hindi mo na kailangan isa-isahin yung mga pagse-sendan mo ng email, puwede kang gumawa ng groups tapos i-type mo lang kung anong group yon tapos yung email na ise-send mo, eh, automatic na is mase-send na lahat dun kasama sa group na ginawa mo. So, kaya maganda rin yung Outlook 'pag nag-e-email blast ka sa isang particular group, ayan. Forms? Napaka-useful nga po 'yan 'pag gumagawa tayo ng mga quizzes, lalong-lalo na kapag puwede kasi siya for formative and summative assessments. Kaya maganda yung forms para sa ating mga online classes lalo na kapag gusto nating ma-check yung mga natutunan ng ating students, yung kung ano pa yung mga needs na kailangan nila, mas madali po sa'tin mag-collate ng data dahil once na sinagot nila yon at makikita po natin yung data analytics 'pag natapos na po yung kanilang mga lahat ng mga sa estudyante natin 'pag nasagot na nila. Ayan, Skype. Ayan, meron pa nga po ring Skype ngayon, pero ayan, Yammer. Yammer more on for the internal organization. OneDrive. Ayan, maganda rin po yung OneDrive kasi 'pag magshe-share ng files, puwede ka na dun i-upload mo lang dun tapos i-share mo yung link. Puwede na yung collaboration niyo real time kahit na nasa magkakaiba po pa kayong ngayon lalong-lalo na ngayon work from home. So, magkakaiba po kayo ng location. So, maganda po yung OneDrive 'pag nagfa-file sharing tayo. At saka sure tayo na secure yung ating mga files. Tsaka kahit gaano kalaki yung file, 'pag hindi kaya po sa email, puwede po natin just i-send yung link, ayan. Tapos yung sa OneDrive, dun na lang i-o-open kung kanino man po natin siya gustong i-share. Ayan, siyempre virtual meeting lalong-lalo na sa ating Microsoft Teams, Microsoft SharePoint, Microsoft Access, Power BI, Office Delve, PowerPoint presentation. Ay meron nga dito, I want to learn more about notebook. Okay. So kung ready na po ang ating Microsoft 365?
Today, we will be discussing heavily on MS Teams. But before that, we will be covering on Office 365. I will walk you through on how to log in and how to use Office 365. First, let's go to portal.office.com. In here, you will be prompted to sign in using your Microsoft account that was given by your IT. Once logged in, you will see the Office 365 interface. All the applications included in your plan are listed here. You will see familiar applications such as Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. These are Word Online, Excel Online, and PowerPoint Online, which mean that in any event that you don't have an installed version of these applications in your laptop, you can still open, create, edit, or save files that you could take from your file storage located in your OneDrive. Aside from these apps, you also have Outlook. This is similar to Gmail and Yahoo Mail. Outlook is the email counterpart in Microsoft. In here, you have 50 gigabytes of mailbox storage. OneDrive is your internet-based hard drive or file storage in the cloud. OneNote is a digital notebook for collecting, organizing, and sharing notes. For example, meeting minutes and lesson plans. SharePoint is a collaborative content management system that is used within an organization. This is similar to OneDrive as a file storage platform, but the difference is SharePoint is a shared folder between a group of people. For example, the English faculty of your school could have a SharePoint and all members of the English faculty has access and visibility to all files found in that SharePoint. Same goes to the different departments like the science department and mathematics department. File sharing and access in SharePoint is limited to the members of the group. A person outside of the group can only access their files if you are given a privilege or permission to do so. There is a certain level of security to safeguard data and information. Teams is a communication and collaboration platform that combines chat, video meetings, file storage, and application integration. We will have an in depth discussion about the features of Teams later on. Sway is a web app platform to create and share interactive presentations, reports, newsletters, and web pages. This could be an alternative tool in creating presentations online. There's no offline version of this. Forms is the counterpart of Google Forms in Microsoft. It is an online application that can be used to create quizzes or collect feedback from teachers and parents. In here, you'll find more apps that you could access with your Microsoft Office account. Below here are recently opened applications and received files with a quick show of who sent it to you or who edited it last. In other words, it is a quick summary of all your recent activities in any Microsoft platform. This shows you the integration of Microsoft apps in one view. Lastly, if you click the icon here, it could be a photo or just your initials. You could go to your Office profile and account settings. Again, this is Office 365 in general. My suggestion is for you to access your own Office 365 and to explore all those applications so that you'll become more familiar with the platform.
Ayan. So, ayan po ang ating brief refresher for Microsoft 365. Now, for our next part po ng ating session, tatawagin ko po yung speaker natin. Familiar face na rin po siya dahil for the past month, nakapag-share na rin po siya at nakapag-discuss na rin po siya with you nung ating isang session ng STEM Heroes. Siya po ay si Miss Micaela Ranyoco at katulad po natin, siya rin po ay isang teacher and with a bachelor's degree in secondary education, major in English. So currently, isa rin po siyang master trainer ng Audentes Technologies and she is certified Microsoft Office Specialist Associate and Expert, Microsoft Innovative Educator, Microsoft Innovative Educator Master Trainer, and Microsoft Certified Trainer. Tawagin po natin ulit si Miss Micaela Ranyaco. Miss Mika!
Hello po, ayan. So, welcome po ulit. Kung last month, I think ang buhok ko ngayon ay medyo purple na po siya. So, every month pala nagpapalit. Ayan. So, last month, nag-discuss po ako sa inyo about STEM heroes and ang host po natin nun is si Miss Mardy. So, this time, like what Sir Jomar and Miss Grace said, ang didiscuss po naman natin is about Microsoft Teams. So, refresher po ito dahil alam ko po marami na po kayo na-attendan maybe webinars or workshops or trainings about Microsoft Teams. So, this time, refresher na lang po ito. So, baka meron po kayong mga hindi pa alam about Microsoft Teams or dahil meron nga pong mga update din this 2021 about Microsoft Teams. So, lahat po yun ay sasabihin po namin sa inyo today. Alright? So, let's start with our Microsoft Teams for education. So, let's show our slide right here. So, ko po ipakita sa inyo how Microsoft Teams is being used sa lahat, or hindi naman lahat, pero majority of the universities and schools all over the world. So, ito yung ginagamit na learning platform, hindi lang during the pandemic, but even before. So, marami na ring mga school ang gumagamit nito for their blended learning, dahil ito nga po ay pwedeng gamitin hindi lang for online classes, but also if you have your physical classes, ginagamit ito even, for example, sa US, napakaraming school ang gumagamit ng Microsoft Teams sa loob ng classroom. So, makikita nyo yung mga bata, may hawak silang mga computer, may hawak silang mga tablet. So, dun sila gumagawa ng kanilang mga group project sa Microsoft Teams. So, imagine kung gaano ka-helpful ang Microsoft Teams for teachers, for students, for admin, and even for parents. Alright? So, in our next slide, pakita ko lang po sa inyo ang overview ng Microsoft Teams. Okay, so let me show you this video. Ayan. So makikita nyo po that Microsoft Teams is a digital hub with powerful communication and collaboration tools. So ang maganda po dito, pwede nyo po siya magamit sa inyong classes, like what you can see in the video. Pwede nyo po siya magamit if you have meetings with your school staff, with your administrative office, or even if you want to collaborate with teachers from other schools. So for example, meron kayong isang district ng mga schools, mga DepEd schools ninyo, pwede nyo rin po kausapin yung mga teachers from those schools and pwede po kayong mag-collaborate. Ano ba yung mga pwede nyong gawin na district-wide trainings for your students? Or baka meron po kayong mga naiisip na webinars. So all of those things, you can do it within Microsoft Teams. So before that, I would like to show you the numbers na kailangan nyo pong tandaan. So this is a quick overview ng mga numbers sa Microsoft Teams. So first, ay makikita nyo po dyan, ang isang user po can create up to 250 teams. Okay, kung ma-note nyo po yan, kung may notebook po kayo somewhere, nakatabi po ninyo or notepad, yan, so type nyo po yan. So one user can create up to 250 teams and be a member of up to 1,000 teams. One team can have a maximum of 10,000 members. So, napakarami po na, no? And dun sa team na yon, pwede ring magkaroon ng 100 owners and 200 channels. Right? So, tandaan nyo po yung mga numbers na yan. Para po pag gumagawa po kayo ng teams po ninyo, alam nyo po kung hanggang saan yung limit ng pwede nyo pong i-add ng mga members. Alright? So, next po, ang lagi po tinatanong sa amin with Microsoft Teams is, magagamit lang ba to sa laptop or magagamit lang ba to sa desktop? So as you can see sa screen natin, hindi lang siya basta sa desktop nagagamit. Pwede nyo po siyang gamitin sa inyong tablet. Pwede rin po siyang gamitin sa inyong cellphone. Kung Android user po ba kayo or iPhone user, pwedeng-pwede po yan sa inyo. And pwede nyo po siyang gamitin sa browser din. Kahit po wala po kayong application ng Teams, pwede nyo po siyang i-open sa inyong browser if you have Microsoft Edge, Google Chrome, or Safari. Right? So, very accessible po siya. Pwede nyo po siyang magamit with any of your device. So, pwede nyo pong i-search yon sa Google po ninyo ngayon or sa Microsoft Edge. Ayan, type nyo po sa tab ninyo. Ano yung mga hardware requirements? Ayan, lalo na po doon sa mga nag-iisip kung compatible ba siya dito sa ganitong device ko, kung ano ba yung kailangan ko i-download. So, hanapin nyo po yun. Yung mga hardware requirements po ng ating Microsoft Teams. But, in general, ayan po makikita nyo, pwede po siyang gamitin in any device that you have. Alright? So, next one, I would like to show you, kanina nabanggit na po ito ni Ms. Marty, but I would like to reiterate ano yung mga i-discuss po natin specifically. Alright? So, we have made an acronym, si TEAM, so si team. So, first, itutour namin kayo sa virtual learning environment na ito. And then E, we're going to use it to enhance class engagement. And then A, how to use Teams to apply your teaching strategies. And then M, how to measure student learning. So yan. So very comprehensive po ang ating magiging training for today. So I hope na mag-take notes po kayo. Ayan. So nakita ko po si Ma'am Edna Mendoza Evangelista, gumagamit siya po sa cellphone niya. Ayan. So pwede po siyang manood for a meeting sa kanyang Teams app sa kanyang cellphone. So possible po yan. So, lahat po yan i-discuss po natin for today. Alright? So, here in our next part, ito na yung mas specific pa. So, para mag-guide din po kayo ano ba yung mga features na i-discuss namin for today. So, here, in our next slide po. Yan. Okay. So, first is, ina-navigate natin yung interface, and then I will show you how to create and manage your teams and channels. And then, under enhancing class engagement, we're going to show you how to schedule and manage an online meeting and how to post conversations and announcements. And then, under applying teaching strategies, we'll show you how to keep OneNote notebooks. Kanina po may nag-comment dito, gusto niya raw pong malaman kung ano daw po yung OneNote. So, sige po, i-discuss po namin yan for you later. And then also, we're going to show you how to store and share files, how to collaborate in creating and editing files, how to have a small group discussion which we usually do sa ating classroom before the pandemic. And then lastly, how to use third-party applications. And then under measuring student learning, we're going to show you how to create and grade an assignment and also a quiz using Microsoft Forms within Teams. And then also how to use class insights. Right, so let's start with the virtual learning environment. So first, we're going to navigate the interface. Okay, so yun po ang una nating gagawin for today. So how do we access Microsoft Teams? So here's ating next slide. Okay, so go to www.office.com and click sign in. So makita nyo po may nakalagay ditong sign in the red box. For this Microsoft Teams store, ang gagamitin po natin is a demo account. So makita nyo po si Cara Coleman. Kunyari ako si Cara Coleman. Ayan, so tingnan nyo po yung sign in. And then once you sign in, once you click sign in, yan, you will be led to this window kung saan nyo po ilalagay yung inyong school email and password. Okay, so kung meron na pong, alam ko po may binigay na po sa inyo din, so pwede nyo pong gamitin yon for this one. And also next, once you have signed in, you will be in the Office 365 homepage. So kita nyo po yung mga apps na pinakita po ni Ms. Mardy kanina, there. And then hanapin nyo po yung Teams na icon, yung naka-red circle, ayan. There, you can click that Teams icon. And then once you click that, you can download the Teams desktop app by clicking the box that says Get the Windows app. And then you can also click Use the web app instead to open Teams in your browser. So again, pwede nyo po siyang i-download as an app sa inyong device or pwede nyo po siyang gamitin sa inyong browser or sa web app nyo. Okay? There. And then next, ito po yung magiging interface niya kung nandito po kayo sa inyong web app or browser version ni Teams. So ito na po yung ating magiging itsura. Pero of course, for best and complete experience with Microsoft Teams, we recommend na i-download nyo po yung app mismo sa inyong device. Right? Para complete yung maging experience ninyo. And para yung mga features din, lahat ng mga features na available kay Teams, magagamit nyo po siya. So, let's look at all the parts of the Microsoft Teams interface. So, first thing that you will see sa inyong Teams, yan, in our next slide. Let's see, there you go. So, here we have the me space. So, tandaan nyo po yung ating me space. Yan, this is where you can keep track of your own apps and files. Right? So, itong me space na to, meron po siyang dalawang areas. So, yung first area po natin, there you go, is the app bar. So, nakikita nyo po dito yung mga applications natin. Ito yung parang control center ng ating Teams. Kasi dito po nyo makikita yung activity, chats, Teams, assignments, calendar, calls, files, plus any app that you want to add dito sa inyong app bar. Alright? So, in our next slide, so papakita ko po sa inyo isa-isa. So, pag clinic nyo po si activity, makikita nyo po yung changes dito sa ating right side ng screen. So, dito siya lalabas. Right? So, for instance, pag clinic nyo si activity, makikita nyo po yung mga notifications ninyo, mga all the activities that you do in your Teams. Kung meron po kayong mga bagong files and edit, mga bagong chats, so lalabas po yan sa inyong notifications. And another one is yung chats natin. Pag clinic nyo po si chat, makikita nyo po yung paano kayo mag-communicate privately with your students or with your colleagues. So, para siyang, kung gumagamit po kayo ng Messenger, ayan, so pwede nyo po itong gamitin din. Ito po yung mas secure na app na pwede po natin gamitin. And then, once you select Teams naman, so pwede naman po kayong mag-navigate between your teams and channels. And then for assignments, Yan, makikita nyo naman po kung ano yung mga assignment na ginawa po ninyo. So, later, discuss po natin paano gumawa po ng assignment. So, next one is calendar. So, dito naman po pwede kayong mag-schedule ng mga meetings ninyo, ng mga class sessions, or para makita nyo po yung entire calendar nyo, para mas madali po sa inyo na mag-plot ng inyong schedule. And then we also have calls, which allows you to speed dial your contacts sa Teams. And you can even check or leave voicemails dyan. And lastly, we have files. So dito nyo naman po makikita lahat ng files that you have access to sa lahat ng Teams na meron kayo. Right? So I hope that you remember that app bar. So next one, yung sinasabi ko po kanina na left rail, ayan. So, dito po lalabas kung ano yung mga sinelect nyo sa app bar. So, for example, clinic ko si Teams. So, ang lumabas dito is yung available na team na meron ako. So, meron akong algebra, class team. Okay? So, dito sa algebra class team, you will see the we space. So, next natin is ang ating we space. Okay, so let me just check that there. So, sa ating space, meron tayong two areas din, yung ating class nav and yung tabs. So, first, yung class nav natin. There. So, nakalagay po dyan ay general. So, pwede niyo po siyang isipin para siyang signpost that shows where you are. So, papakita niyo po na currently nandito kayo sa general channel. So, mag-change po yan depende sa channel na kiniklik ninyo. So, ito yung ating class nav. And then next, dun sa right ng ating class nav, makikita nyo po lahat ng tabs na available for your channel. So, dito nyo po makikita yung posts, files, class notebook, assignments, and grades. Right? So, pag clinic nyo po yon, yung mga tabs po na yon, ilalabas po sa baba. Yan, ito po yung nasa baba natin. Okay, click next here. There. So, this is what we call the canvas. So, pag nagpipainting, di ba, meron tayong canvas na ginagamit. Yun yung parang ating dinodrawingan. Doon tayo nag-work, alright, sa ating canvas natin. So, it's the same with Microsoft Teams. So, dito sa canvas, dito nyo na po pwedeng i-post yung mga conversations niyo. Pwede po kayo mag-add ng files. So, this is where you're going to work on. So that's your workspace in Microsoft Teams. And then next, I think this is one of my favorite parts of Microsoft Teams. Yung next po natin is yung ating command box. So you can use the command box to search for anything, right? So for example, gusto nyo mag-search ng file, type nyo lang po yung name ng file. Kung gusto nyo mag-search ng conversation, pwede nyo rin pong i-type dyan. Or pag gusto nyo pong mag-search ng assignment, i-type nyo lang po din dyan. Pero aside from searching, yung usual na ginagawa pag search box, di ba parang magta-type ka lang ng gusto mong hanapin, itong search box ng ating team or command box ng ating team can also be used to do certain commands. So, gagawin nyo lang po is mag-type ng / symbol. Ayan, nakalagay siya dyan. And then, makikita nyo yung list of commands that you can do to do a certain task. So, for example, pag nilagay ko po yung / and then type ko activity, lalabas dito yung activity ng isang person. So, pwede ko pong hanapin yung name ng person na yon. And then, for example, slash ko / and then calendar. Mapupunta po ako sa calendar tab and then makikita ko po yung aking mga schedule. So, pwede nyo pong makita yan sa inyong Teams. I-try nyo po yan later on pag nag-Teams na po kayo. Type nyo po yung / para makita nyo po yung list of commands that you can use. Okay? So, yun po ang ating Microsoft Teams interface. I hope that's clear to everybody. And the next one naman po is how to create and manage your teams and channels. Okay? So, don't worry kung marami pong parts po kayo na nakita. I know that you'll get a better sense of what these things are pag ginagamit nyo na po yung actual tool. Right? So, Let's move on. So, kanina, pinindot na po natin na ito yung ating Teams. So, there, nakalagay na po tayo sa Teams. When you click that from your app bar, makikita nyo po yung mga square tiles. So, there, ito po yung mga square tiles natin. Ito po yung mga teams natin. So, yung isang team po, this could be a collection of people, content, or even tools based on a specific project or group. So, as you can see, we have a team for a research project. We have a team for the district principals. We have a team for school staff. And we also have team for your class. So, for example, si entrepreneurship course. So, pwede po kayong gumawa ng class team for any subject or any class that you have. Or kahit nga po hindi subject, kahit po organization yan, pwede nyo pong gawan. So, for example, meron kayong student council, journalism club, or glee club, pwede nyo pong gawan ng team po yan. So, here, sa join or create team button natin, pwede po nyo yung i-click if you want to create your own team. So, pag click po ninyo yan, nakita nyo po itong option na to, join a team with a code. So, pwede po kayong manghingi ng code from the one who made the team. For example, yung inyong department head, kung gumawa po siya ng team po niya. Pwede po kayong humingi ng code sa kanya and then i-enter nyo lang po dito para makapasok po kayo dun sa team na yon. So, next one naman is, kung gusto nyo po na kayo po mismo yung gumawa ng inyong team, i-click nyo lang po yung create a team. Okay? So, ito po usual na ginagamit ng mga teachers natin. So, pag nag-create sila ng team, meron tayong 4 na team type. So, makikita nyo po yan, meron tayong class team, professional learning community team or PLC team. We have also staff team, and we have the other team. So, tingnan po natin isa-isa. Ano ba yung mga differences ng mga teams na ito? So, in our next slide, you will see that table. Ayan. So, sa class team po natin, ito yung pwedeng gamitin ng mga teachers for their subjects. So, for example, English teacher ka po, pwede ka pong gumawa ng inyong English team. I-add nyo po yung section na tinuturuan ninyo. For example, si section 1. So, pwede nyo pong gamitin yung class notebook, assignments, and grades. And then there, in your class team, you can assign, track, and review your student work. Pwede po kayong mag-export ng grades, gumawa ng mga quizzes and polls, and even if you want to invite other speakers or other teachers sa inyong class. Kung may co-teachers po kayo, or baka meron po kayong mga special speaker for a special topic na gusto nyo pong pakita. For example, mag-invite po kayo ng journalist para magturo ng inyong journalism class. So, pwede nyo pong gawin yon in Microsoft Teams, specifically in class teams. And then for PLC team, ito naman po yung ginagamit ng mga teachers. Okay, these are co-teachers working together. Either, for example, you want to make changes in the curriculum. You want to have a meeting regarding improvement for school. So, pwede rin pong gamitin yung OneNote notebook for that. So, doon nyo po ilagay lahat ng mga notes po ninyo, lahat ng mga lesson plans na gusto nyo pong i-share or even syllabus, pwede nyo pong lagay sa OneNote notebook. Okay? For staff naman po, for staff team, this is what staff leaders usually use. So, dito nila pinopost yung mga announcement nila for the school, or even, for example, mga school district officers, or even sa ITO, pwede po nilang gamitin yung staff team para po dito sila mag-meeting, dito po nila makikita yung mga professional and organizational goals nila and development. And also, dito sila pwede mag-share ng mga progress report regarding their tasks. And then, for the other team naman, this is what organizations or school clubs can use. So, for example, kanina yung example ko na student council, so pwede po kayong gumawa ng other team for your student council, and then dun po sila pwedeng mag-meeting for school events, or for example, for journalism, puro journalism example ko kasi yun yung ginagawa ko before. So, for example, for journalism class, or club, pwede po kayong gumawa ng school paper doon sa loob ng inyong Microsoft Teams. So, napakarami pong tools na pwede nyo pong gamitin doon. Like for example, si Microsoft Word, right? So, or Microsoft PowerPoint to create creative presentations. So, lahat po yun magagawa nyo within Microsoft Teams. So, lahat po yan papakita rin namin sa inyo later. So, abangan nyo po yan. So, for now, ang gagawin natin is mamimili tayo ng isang team na gagawin. So, yun yung magiging example natin. So, dahil this is a training specifically for mga educators natin, dahil marami po tayong teachers dito sa comments, ang gagawin ko po ay isang class team. Okay, so click natin ngayon si ating class team. So, once you click that, nilalabas po na another window that says create your team. And then here, meron siyang konting description. Ayan, pakiclick po natin yung class team. Ayan. So, makikita nyo po na pwede nyo pong palitan yung name. And pwede rin po kayo maglagay ng description, although that's optional. So, pwede po kayo rin mag-create ng team using an existing team as a template. And you can just type in there the important details and then click next. So, once you click next, you can add people to your team. So, for example, sa English class, itatype ko po yung names ng aking mga estudyante. So, search ko lang po dito or even email addresses, pwede kong i-search dito. And then, I can also add in my co-teachers. Kung meron po kayo mga co-teachers or parang assistant teacher or yung mga student teachers na usually pumapasok sa ating mga schools for practicum, pwede nyo pong i-add dito. Okay, so once you search for their name or type their name, lalabas po yung pangalan nila and email address dyan. Makikita nyo po sa search for students field. And you can just add them there. I-click nyo lang yung name and then you click add. Ayan. So next natin para makita nyo yung add button dito. So pag lumabas na yung pangalan nyo dito sa search field, i-click nyo na lang si add. And then next, once you click add, mapupunta na yung name niya dito under the search field. So, ibig sabihin, na-add nyo na siya doon sa team ninyo. And once you are done adding people to your team, you can just click close. Yan. So, ito na. Nakagawa na po na tayo ng ating class team. So, you can see the name of your class team on the left side of your screen. So, akin ang nakalagay ay English class by Teacher Nika. So, you can see, naka-blank pa yung ating class team dito. So, let's add more details to that. So, first, i-click nyo po yung three dots icon kung kayo po yung team owner or kayo yung teacher who's in control of your team. Pwede nyo pong iset yung mga permissions and settings for your team. So, to access that, click nyo po yung three dots or more options icon next to your team name. And then, click nyo po yung Manage Team. So, makikita nyo po may iba-iba po kayong options dyan. May Add Channel, Add Member, Leave the Team, Edit Team, Get Link to Team, and Manage Tags, and even Delete the Team. So, ngayon, ang didiscuss muna natin is paano mag-manage ng team. So, pag click nyo si Manage Team, ito yung lalabas. Ayan. So, first thing, under Manage Team, and click natin siya. So, makikita niyo yung Members tab. So, ito yung unang-unang tab sa ating Manage Team Settings. So, under here, you can add more members and you can also see all the people included in your team. So, pwede niyo pong i-change yung role. For example, ang nakalagay po dito ay si Teacher Francis and si Teacher Nika yung owner. So, ito yung mga teachers ng class team natin. So, what if nagkamali ako ng lagay ng co-teacher? Yung estudyante, nalagay ko siya as co-teacher. Pwede ko siyang palitan. So, pwede kong baguhin yung nakalagay na role, lalagay ko na lang member. Or, kaya naman, pwede rin naman po, for example, meron kayong class president na estudyante, pwede nyo po siyang i-add as team owner or co-owner sa inyo para po makakatulong din siya with maybe setting permissions or maybe helping you manage yung inyong online class. Okay? And then next, we have the pending requests. So ito, blank siya kasi wala akong pending requests right now. But when people submit a request to join your team, you can accept or deny them under this tab. Okay, so tandaan niyo po yan. And the next, under the channels tab, you can hide or unhide the channels for you or your members. And then you can add more channels and manage channel settings. And the next, sa ating settings tab, there, you can check or uncheck the options or permissions you want to use. So makikita nyo po yan dito kung may member permissions or guest permissions kayo na gustong i-change. If you want to change your team theme, okay, yung parang icon ng inyong theme, pwede yung gamitin to. And then you can also share yung code, yung kaninang sinasabi kong team code para makapag-join yung ibang tao. And then you can also disable or enable the fun stuff. So yung fun stuff, yun yung mga emoji, memes, or GIFs, or stickers. So if you want to enable that, you may do it here. Kung gusto nyo rin pong disable, pwede nyo rin po siyang gawin dito. And then lastly, you can choose who can manage the tags. And then here we have the analytics. So dito, makikita nyo po yung usage data for your team. So it will show you the summary of your users or current members, and also your apps and meetings. Sino yung mga active nyo na members dun sa team. Yung mga number ng engagements, for example, ilan yung posts, replies, mentions, and reactions. And ano yung mga roles ng bawat person, kung sino yung mga owners nyo and members nyo. And kung ilan yung meetings na nagawa ninyo. Okay. So, ang maganda po dito is pwede nyo po siyang gawing basis for maybe changing or editing your online class. So, for example, napapansin nyo po parang walang nagre-react sa mga posts or walang nagme-mention. Parang hindi masyadong active yung mga students when it comes to having conversations or responding to announcements. So, makikita nyo po yun dito. And then, pwede nyo po siyang i-change. Pwede nyo po maybe mag-add po kayo ng mga GIFs or maggawa po kayo ng more creative posts and announcements for your students. Okay? So, next po natin is ang ating apps tab. So, pasensya na po sa mga aso ng mga kapitbahay. Napakarami na pong aso dito sa street namin. So, kanina may nakita kasi ako nag-comment na medyo may background noise daw. So, magpasensyahan na po natin yung mga dogs ng kapitbahay. Ayan. So, let's move to the apps tab. So, dito naman po, pwede kayong mamili and mag-add ng mga applications, mga third-party applications na pwede nyo pong ilagay sa mismong Microsoft Teams ninyo. Kasi para hindi na po kayo parang kung saan-saan pa po kayong app nagpupunta, ang dami nyo pong naka-open na tabs or ang dami nyong apps na nakabukas sa desktop ninyo, baka mag-crash lang po yung laptop ninyo. So, ang maganda po dito, pwede nyo po siyang i-integrate sa inyong Teams. For example, si Microsoft Word, pwede nyo na po siyang mabuksan dito lang sa Microsoft Teams. Hindi nyo na kailangan pumunta nga sa mismong Microsoft Word pa na application. So, yun po ang maganda sa ating Teams application. And then, next po, so balik tayo sa ating team kanina. Kasi tapos na tayo mag-manage ng team settings. So, tingnan naman po natin yung ating mga channel. So, ito naman po ang ating general channel. So, lahat po ng class team ay merong general channel. So, here, as you can see, yung channel po na to, this is where you can organize files or conversations or apps for a specific topic. So, si general, dito po kayo pwedeng mag-post ng mga announcements nyo for your class or kahit ano pong mga general posts na meant for all the students to see. Okay? So, itong channel na to, meron siyang default na posts tab, files tab, class notebook, assignments, and grade. Pero kung gusto niyo po pong mag-add ng iba pang tabs or ibang applications pa dito sa channel na to, you may do so by clicking the plus sign. Right? So, what we can do is to add more channels to our team. Kasi yung general channel, like what I said, ito yung mga parang general announcements lang. But if you want to have more specific categories, you can click Add Channel. So, click nyo lang ulit yung 3 dots and then click nyo si Add Channel. And then here, may kita nyo you can create a channel for this team. You can change the channel name. So for example, nilagay ko week 1 nouns. And then you can add the description here. And then yung privacy. So yung privacy is dalawa yon. So pwede siyang private channel, pwede rin siyang standard channel. So si standard channel po is accessible yan to everybody. Ayan. So, ngayon, click ko yung standard channel kasi para lahat po ng mga estudyante under my English class would see this channel. And then, you can just click add. Ayan. So, pag click po natin yung add natin, makagawa na po tayo ng ating channel. So, another one is yung kanina yung sinasabi ko yung private channel which is accessible only to a specific group of people. So, ito naman, for example, meron kayong mga groupings or projects. So, pwede kayong gumawa ng channel for group 1, and then for group 2, and then another channel for group 3. So, si group 1, yung mga members ng group 1 ang pwedeng mag-work in that group 1 channel. So, pwede nyo pong ma-monitor paano sila nagbe-brainstorming, paano sila nag-edit ng mga files together dun sa channel na yon. And other students who are not part of that group won't be able to see that channel. So, hindi po sila makakapagkopyahan ng ideas. So, that's the purpose of the private channel. So, si standard channel naman, pwede nyo po siyang i-divide into different ways. Alright? So, pwede nyo po siyang gamitin for topics, units. For example, si English class, di ba po, si English class meron siyang grammar topic, meron siyang reading, literature, spelling, handwriting. So, pwede nyo pong gawan ng channel lahat po ng yun. So, dito, kung meron kayong private channel, pwede po kayo mag-add ng specific members, like what I said earlier. And yung specific people na in-add nyo lang, yung makaka-access na inyong private channel. Pero, gaya ng sabi ko kanina, yung general channel, lahat po yun, automatic, ma-access nila yon. Okay, so makita nyo po dito, may lock icon na yung sa tabi ng ating private channel. Okay, yan, may lock icon siya. So this one naman, I want to show you examples. Okay, mga sample teams and channel views for your school, staff, and department. So for example, you want to have a team para po sa inyong elementary school, high school, and middle school administrative staff. You may create that. And then you may also have a different team for your high school staff. So under ng high school staff team, meron kayong different channels wherein you can post announcements, you can do your classroom observations, and yung mga plans ninyo, and even for handbook. And then for math department then, you can do that. You can have staff meeting minutes there or scheduling. And then for the next one, ayan, so ating next naman is for school classes naman. So for example, you have an advanced English class, you can create different groups. And then for math, you can also create different channels for different topics. And then, for example, you are an isolated class, meaning, kunyari, ikaw lang yung teacher for all the subjects, especially, nangyayari to pag mga lower grades. So, kunyari, ikaw yung teacher ng math, reading, science, and social studies, and even spelling. So, you can create different channels para ma-organize mo yung mga content mo and even yung mga posts for that specific topic. Right. So, I know that that's a lot, okay, a lot to take in, but we still have more to discuss to you. So, gusto namin pakita naman sa inyo next would be our class engagement. Yeah, so next one is about posting conversations and announcements and scheduling and managing online meetings. So we would like to introduce to you our next speaker for that. Okay, so invite natin now si Miss Zari Daluz, who is a graduate of Bachelor of Technical Teacher Education, and she has been teaching for almost 5 years now. So ngayon, isa na po siyang master trainer, like me, sa Audentes Technologies, and marami na rin po siyang certifications. Siya po ang aming PowerPoint master sa Audentes. Ayan.
Medyo, oo, siguro.
So, medyo, di ba? Pero totoo, siya ang aming PowerPoint master. Isa rin po siyang Microsoft Innovative Educator at Microsoft Certified Trainer. So you are in good hands, everybody. And again, let us welcome Miss Zari.
Ayan, thank
Take it
you po,
away.
Teacher Pia. Yes. Thank you. Kunin ko muna spotlight from you. Again, good morning, teachers. Ayan. So, okay, in connection with Teacher Mika's discussion session naman nito, I will be discussing about enhancing class management. Okay, class engagement rather. Okay, so for this session, I will share you how to use and maximize the Microsoft Teams post tab to send messages, post announcements, which is very important lalo na ngayon, 'di ba? And how to manage and schedule an online meeting or in the most relevant case, syempre sa ating mga kaguruan, mag-manage ng mga online class natin sa mga panahon ngayon using Microsoft Teams. All right. So, next slide, please. So, let's go straight ahead with the post tab. In our next slide, you will see there for each team and channels within a team, makakita po kayo ng post tab. So, madali po para sa ating mga teachers, kahit marami tayong klase na hinahawakan, mas madali nating makikita or organize ba yung conversation natin. Nakaseparate na siya from one section to another section or let's say team. Okay, so even if you are handling a couple of groups, ayan, madali siyang i-organize, madaling mahanap ang ating mga conversation. In the next slide naman, you might be meron din yan. So, post tab, kahit general team yan or specific group or channel conversation, gaya nga po na naituro ni Miss Mika kanina, di ba? Pwede tayong maghati-hati ng teams natin. Private man yan or hindi. And of course, sa next slide natin, hindi pa last, sorry. So, ayan, meron din tayong post tab or meron din tayong chat box directly para sa ating student. Kung one-on-one, kung gusto nyo silang kausap, pwede po iyan. Okay, so that's our post tab. Now, let's jump right in naman po sa different uses and features ng ating post tab. Siyempre, hindi lang siya sending messages, sending GIFs or whatsoever. So, ang papakita ko po sa inyo sa ating next slide, which is this is a demo video so I can show you po talaga yung steps on how to use this and the features na mas madali. Okay, so this is a walkthrough video on how to use post conversation tabs and announcements. So here's our video. Okay. So sa ating post tab po, hindi lang po siya, gaya na nasabi ko, di ba? Hindi lang talaga siya mag-send ng pictures, files also. Meron din siya mga natatago pa mga features. Kayo po, gumagamit na po kayo ng Teams sa mga nakita kong comments kanina. Ang dami na nagsasabi ginagamit nila ang Microsoft Teams as their platform. Yan. So kayo po ba kung gumagamit na ng MS Teams teachers, ano yung favorite nyo so far na feature ng post tab natin? Madalas po ba kayong gumamit ng GIF stickers para lang ma-hop up yung ating mga student dyan pag ating synchronous learning or asynchronous man yan? Okay. All right, so here's our video. Most times, we will use this to send messages to our students. Just by typing in your thoughts in this field, also by adding the @ symbol before your student's name, you will be able to enable the mention feature of our post tab. Whoever that student might be, they should receive a notification in their activity feed to easily see which team conversation they were being mentioned. Then, once your message is good to go, just click the send button on this paper plane icon so you can instantly send your message. Emojis and GIFs are also made available for your enhanced class conversation. Isn't it cool? Our Teams Post tab does not stop there. In addition, within our Teams Post tab, you can actually share YouTube link, attach Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or PDF files directly from your device, OneDrive, or from other teams and channels you organize. If you wish, you may instantly start an online meeting with your class as well, just by clicking this Meet button stuck on the right upper corner of your post tab, or when you click this drop-down arrow, you will be able to choose between meeting your class right away or set the scheduled meeting instead. Talking about convenience, right? For more best features. If you click this icon and click this drop down arrow, you can change the setting of your post tab from a new conversation to an announcement. This setting is best used for important information for your class or team. You can customize its banner to make it more eye catching or mark it as important to trigger a sense of urgency to whoever reads it. Very useful, correct? And speaking of useful, Microsoft Teams also integrated an artificial intelligence in one of their best features. This is the immersive reader. Have you heard about immersive readers before? Okay. Here posts, chat messages, and assignments read aloud using this feature. To enable this, select the post or message you want to be read aloud. Click this three dots icon and select Immersive Reader. Once selected, you should be directed to this window. You may configure how fast you want it to read or choose your preferred voice before you play the Immersive Reader. We'll provide a link for you to know more about this feature. Sounds interesting, isn't it? So that's it. That's our post tab. Okay, so makikita nyo naman simula pa lang mapapansin nyo at na talaga na si Microsoft Teams user-friendly. So kahit zero knowledge pa kayo sa kanya, madali nyo siyang mananavigate at magagamit agad. Okay, so now, before I proceed to avoid confusion, I would like to share you the two different interfaces of our online meet feature, okay? So this feature will mostly use for your synchronous sessions. Kasama naman po ang inyong mga estudyante. Alright? Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, so here, when you download Teams application as the default, ito po yung makikita nyo po muna sa online meeting ninyo. Ito po yung interface. Okay? The next, alright? So, when you enable the turn on new meeting experience naman po sa inyong mga setting, from the general setting, this is what your online would look like. Next slide, please. Ayan siya. Okay? So, nakikita niyo po yung difference. Pagtabihin naman natin silang dalawa sa ating susunod na slide para mas madali po ninyo makita yung differences. Okay? So, pero kung wala pa po kayong applications ng MS Teams sa inyong mga devices, teachers, when you download it today, automatic na po, nasa new experience na siya. Okay? So, hindi nyo na kailangan mag-set. Pero kung kayo ay meron ng applications or Microsoft Teams applications last year pa, this is what you need to do if you want the new experience interface. All right? So I hope that is clear. So we can now proceed to our next discussion, which is again online meeting sa ating MS Teams. All right? So again, this is a walkthrough video for you. Let's play. There are a couple of ways to set a scheduled meeting. One, through your post tab. Next, by clicking this calendar icon, you can look for your desired date and time in this calendar page. Or you can click this new meeting button found in the right upper corner of your calendar page. Once clicked, this page will appear. Here is where we will fill out the details for our online meeting. Details such as the title of your meeting, required attendees, the date and time of your meeting, how frequent you want your meeting to occur in your calendar, or here, you may select your target class team or channel for your online meeting. Instead of inviting our students one by one, then in this field is where you can add notes or description for your upcoming online meeting. You may or you may not. It is optional to fill this field out. Once all necessary details are filled out, click Send and automatic. Your target attendees will receive or should receive a meeting invitation through their emails and should reflect to their respective teams' calendars. If you invited a whole class team, you should also see a notification on your Post tab, just like this. And on the side note, if your institution allows you to have other platform to communicate with your students, platforms such as Facebook Messenger or Viber groups, you may copy a link of your online meeting manually and send it to your respective group chats. If that won't get a hold of your students, I don't know what else. All right. Okay, so there you go. That's how we schedule a meeting using Microsoft Teams for our online classes, for our scheduled online class meeting. Okay, so we are done preparing, scheduling our online meeting. Punta naman po tayo doon sa preparation stage bago tayo conduct ng ating official online class. Okay, so there are some things na sinasuggest namin no, when it comes to online classes. So as the teacher and organizer of your meeting or of your class, it is better po siguro kung mas ahead kayo sa paggamit sa inyong mga sa inyong mga students sa paggamit ng platform na to. Okay? So also, we would like to suggest na sa inyong online meeting, mas maganda din na mauuna kayong mag-online compare sa mga students nyo para may time pa kayong mag-prepare, check nyo if working yung audio ninyo, if working yung video ninyo, or maganda ba yung background or not, or such things like that. Okay? So, sabi nga din ni Benjamin Franklin, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So, preparation is no doubt essential in most everything. Do you agree with me, teachers? Of course, naramdaman nyo yan. Okay? So, here's another walkthrough video for you. And let's play it. And with that, the first feature I want to introduce to you as part of your preparation is the Microsoft Teams whiteboard. Simply select your scheduled Teams meeting card from your calendar page. Just right before you click join, look for and select whiteboard from this ribbon. Once it loads, you should instantly see your virtual whiteboard. Here, you can start writing mathematical formulas for your students to solve later on, annotations, or just simply doodle. It is best used when you are using touchscreens and stylus, by the way. You may add text and notes if you wish. Once you start your online class and you already shared your whiteboard to your students to make it more engaging, on the right upper corner, you will notice this gear icon. From here, you can let your students collaborate within your whiteboard. You can simply click this toggle to change its setting. Okay, next, let's start our Teams meeting. And here's our walkthrough video for it. Once you click join, you will be prompted by this window. In here, you can already set your video and audio setting. Put yourself on mute, open your camera, and set your preferred background filters or effects. When your initial settings are good to go, click join now. Next, we have the background effects or filters. Yan. For me, ito yung pinaka-favorite kong part or features para sa online meeting eh. Dito din sa MS Teams. Okay. So, now, next slide please. It is my favorite because from this chaotic background, 'di ba? Medyo hindi maganda. It can turn it to this background. In our next slide, you will see yung difference nila. So, 'di ba? Mas maganda yung background natin. It's not actually used para lang pagandahin yung background natin or to make it pretty, 'di ba? But rather, it makes your video much conducive for work, less yung mga possible distraction. Kung ikaw ay teacher, hindi masyado made-distract ang mga students mo kung may padaan-daan diyan sa likod mo. Kasi aminado naman tayo, ako for me, hindi talaga ako ready for work from home setup eh. Wala talaga akong place for work. So, napakagandang feature nito for me is para kahit saan ako pumunta sa sulok ng bahay namin, okay lang yung background ko. Hindi siya ganon ka-disturbing when I am on a meeting, kung nasa training man ako or such. Ayan. So, how to enable this background effects? So, I'm gonna show you another demo video for it, and let's play it in our next slide. And to use this feature, go to these three dots icon, look for apply background effects. Then you can use and choose from the available backgrounds in the Microsoft Teams gallery or add your own preferred background by clicking this add new icon. Locate and select your background, then apply it to use. And this time, we have the feature of turning off incoming videos and muting all your participants, which I think is napaka-useful po, lalo na kung napakadami na natin sa ating klase. Again, here's my video. To avoid chaos in your online classes, there are some helpful features that I can share with you. First is the turning off incoming videos. To enable this, just click these three dots icon from your meetings window. Click to enable. This will make your incoming students or participants' video cameras to off before they join you in your online meeting. Unless your students will manually open their cameras, this feature can surely help you out in managing your class even before they join you in your meeting. Next is muting your participants. There are two ways to mute your participants or students in your online meeting. One, muting your participants individually. To do that, go to the View Participants list. Beside your student's name, you should see the three dots icon. Click and select Mute to turn your student's mic to off. Easy. Second, muting your students all at once. Again, go to the View Participants list. Instead of going through your students list one by one to see whose mic is on, we can go directly to these three dots icon and select Don't Allow Attendees to Unmute. Once enabled, your students won't longer be able to unmute their microphone unless you let them, either by changing the settings again or by unmuting them one by one. It's your choice. All right. And next we have the raise your hand and chat box. Okay. So again, here's our video for it. As part of your preparation as well, it is important for you teachers to set the mood of your class right before you start on your actual discussion. Informing or reminding your students with your online class rules might one of the things that can really help you manage your online class. Your students may use the raise your hand feature to recite during your class discussion, or you may instruct them to use the chat box instead to ask their questions and share their ideas. That way, you can teach them how to engage in your class without risking to disrupt your online discussions. After you set the mood of your students and you prepare them with the expectations and goals of your online meeting, now it's time to jump right in with managing your online discussions. All right, so we're done with the preparation stage of our online classes. Now, mag-jump right in naman tayo on how to manage our online discussion. So, ano-ano ba yung mga features na pwede nating gamitin to manage to conduct our classes na using Microsoft Teams. So, first, we have the share screen. All right, and here's our video. We usually use teacher-made instructional materials as a guide and effectively teach our students with our subject matter. In Microsoft Teams, you can share your presentation with ease. To share your presentation or your desktop screen, click this share tray icon. Once selected, you should notice a panel will appear from the bottom of your screen. On this panel, you'll see all active or open windows on your device. Click this toggle bar to include system audio if you are about to show an instructional video with sounds. Afterwards, select the window or application you want to share with your class. Instantly, your screen will be visible to your students.
Alright. So, that's how we share screen. Paano natin i-share yung ating mga um, PowerPoint presentation for our students. All right. So now let us proceed with the MS Teams view modes. Some of you educators, when you do your online teaching, I understand that sometimes gusto nyo nakikita yung mga estudyante nyo at you are required them or you ask them to open their cameras, no? Dito sa MS Teams, you can do that and you can actually choose different view modes. Kung ilan yung estudyante nyo or kung gusto nyo meron pang pa-background dyan, you still have that, okay? So, in our next slide, just want to remind everyone. Okay, so these view modes po will only be available if you set again your Microsoft Teams to turn on new meeting experience. Okay? So there are three modes that you can choose depending sa number po ng video cameras na gusto nyo makita sa inyong screen. First, we have po, ito po sa ating susunod na slide, meron po tayo yung tinatawag nating gallery mode. So, dito makikita po kayo or ang makikita nyo po is a maximum of 9 students all at the same time. Okay? The next, kung gusto nyo naman po yung pangmaramihan talaga, you have more than 30 students or more than 9 students, we have naman po the large gallery mode na tinatawag na merong maximum of 49 students in one screen. Okay? So possibly ito po yung mas gusto ninyo, 'di ba? Kung kayo yung teacher na required sa mga students ninyo na naka-open ang kanilang video cameras. And then lastly, we have what we call the together mode. Ayan. So, meron siya maximum of 50 students. And meron kayong choice or option ng different background. So, itong nakikita natin sa ating screen, ito yung parang, I think this is a conference room. Meron, pero kung gusto nyo or kayo ay teacher naman kayo ng mga young learners natin, like elementary students, the little ones, meron din sila yung mga underwater background, yung para makakuha ng attention sa mga bata. So, maganda rin po iyong gamitin para maging active ang mga class natin. 'Di ba? Nakikita nila yung sarili nila sa underwater, sa mga arena, etc. Ayan, you can check that out later on sa inyong mga Microsoft Teams application. So those are the different team modes. I mean, yeah, MS Teams view modes. Now, let's proceed in recording your meeting. So sometimes, hindi natin maiiwasan na may mga students tayo na hindi makakarating sa scheduled online meeting natin. Maraming valid reason why. So, isa rin sa magandang maging practice natin is to record our meeting. Given na alam ng mga students natin na nire-record natin yung session. Para wala tayong mabibreak na privacy, anything dyan sa mga bata. Kung private person sila, ayaw nila pa-record, di ba? So, ayun. So, again, here's a recorded video on how to demo or how to use this feature.
Just click these three dots icon and select Start Recording. Once you are done, you can simply click the Stop Recording button, then wait for your recorded video to be saved in your OneDrive.
And that's it. Simple lang. Pupindutin nyo lang po yung red button sa ating three dots or other actions po or more actions icon dyan. So, next we have, so after natin mag-prepare, nakapag-manage na tayo ng klase, ngayon naman on how to end your online class. So, meron din tayong mga features na pwede natin gamitin dyan. Okay? So, next slide please. So, we have the downloading attendance. So, if you forgot to check your students' attendance bago sila mag-leave sa inyong klase, hindi nyo kailangan mag-worry. Para magawa ito yung dapat nating gawin. Let's play our video.
Just simply open the View Participants icon.
Click these three dots icon and select Download Attendance List. Once downloaded, this is what your attendance would look like. You'll see the list of names of your students and the exact time when they joined and left your meeting. Looks convenient for me. Just remember to download your attendance list before you end your meeting because unfortunately, once your meeting ended, there's no way to retrieve your attendance anymore.
Okay, so update about this feature. Before, sa last year, kapag natapos nyo na po, na-end nyo na yung meeting ninyo, kung kayo ang organizer, hindi nyo na po talaga ma-retrieve yung attendance sheet. Okay, hindi nyo na mada-download. Pero sa recent update po nila, kung kayo ang organizer, kahit na po na-end nyo ang inyong mga online meeting, makakakuha or ma-retrieve nyo na po ang attendance sheet ninyo. Makikita nyo po yan sa inyong chat history. Alright? So, yun yung kagandahan na ngayon. So, hindi nyo na kailangan kabahan kung ma-end yung meeting, wala pa yung attendance ninyo. Alright? So, moving forward rather. So, next is sharing your recorded class. Syempre, nag-record tayo para yan sa mga student natin na hindi naka-attend sa online class natin. So, paano natin i-share your recorded class na yan? So, again, here's a video.
Go to your Office 365 account, open your OneDrive, and look for the recordings folder. In it, look for that recorded class session you want to share. Select, click Share, configure the settings to who you would like this link to work for. You can set it to anyone with the link or to specific people only. For added security, you may set a password to access this link and an expiration date to limit the time this link or video will be available to its recipient. Just click Apply when you are done. You may directly send this link through your students' email addresses by typing in their email addresses here and adding some message for instructions or description in this field. Click Send if you think it's ready to share. You may choose to select Copy Link as well. Then you can just write an email including the link you copied using your Outlook to disseminate your recording to your students. Once they receive the link, they can instantly watch it in their own time.
Ayan, another update po. Okay? So, ngayon naman po, before kasi, ang recorded meetings po sa Microsoft Teams, directly po siyang napapasok sa streams. Kung hindi nyo po napapansin, ngayon naman po, once you record a meeting, directly na po siyang pumapasok sa OneDrive natin. Okay? So, para mas madali po nating ma-share yung ating recorded meeting. Okay? Sa streams po kasi, sometimes may policy po yan kapag hindi kayo under ng same group or same team or organization, mahirap po siya ma-share sa iba. So, ngayon, since hindi naman lahat ng mga students natin is merong Microsoft Teams account, hindi natin masabi, di ba? So, dinala na lang po nila yan sa OneDrive para mas madali yung sharing natin. Okay? So, hindi nyo na po kailangan ding ma-stress out paano pa i-download, upload mo po siya somewhere else para lang ma-share sa mga students natin. Okay? So, there we have it. And that is Microsoft Teams for education. In Microsoft Teams, although we can only accommodate po na 50 students all at the same time sa screen natin. Okay? So, we can actually accommodate a maximum of 250 to 300 students at a time. Okay? So, kung gusto niyo yung dalawang class nyo, tatlong classes sabay-sabay, go ahead, pwede yan. And if that's not enough for you, if you wish to accommodate more students in one meeting, we have what we call the Teams Live event. So, additional lang po ito. Okay? So, sa mga hindi po familiar sa Teams Live event, okay? So, ang Teams Live event po natin can accommodate at a maximum of 10,000 participants. Okay? So, ito po, maganda itong feature na ito, yung klase ng meeting na ito, if you are conducting a school-wide event, orientation, PTC, madami kayong teachers to parents na gustong i-invite, diba? So, maganda po itong Teams Live event for such events. Okay? So, the only difference that you might notice lang
When you use Teams live event po kasi, your audience is only limited lang in using to use or access only the meeting chat box. So hindi sila makakapag-open mic, hindi sila makakapag-open video, makakapag-type lang po sila to ask their questions or to send their thoughts. Okay? And also in Teams live event, meron po tayong tinatawag na tatlong grupo. So we have the producers or the organizers and the presenters and the audience. Sa slide po natin ngayon, ang nakikita nyo po is yung producer's view. So yung producer's view po, siya po yung nagma-manage. Siya yung may kakayahan, siya yung may power na mag-end at mag-start at mag-end ng ating Teams live event. At siya rin yung may kakayahan na kung sino yung papakita niya sa audience. So makikita nyo, yan yung ating station ng producer. Next slide naman, makikita niyo naman po yung presenter's view. Okay, so ito po yung presenter's view. Makikita niya lang po is the question box or the meeting chat box, yung mga questions ng mga audience, yung sarili niya, yung presentation niya, and such. And lastly, we have the audience view. Okay, so ito makikita po ninyo ang audience view. Makikita niyo sa right side, nandyan po yung parang question and answer chat box. And then sa baba, if ever na late kayo ng pasok, pwede nyo po siyang start pa sa umpisa. Kasi ang Teams Live event po, automatic yan, naka-record na siya. Okay? So kahit na late kayo ng pasok, pwede nyo pa rin siyang simulan. So that is Teams Live event. Okay. So I guess that's it for my part. Okay. So later on, we'll try to provide you other links para po for you can further browse, navigate, explore Teams live event. Okay? So I hope I have given you enough information for you to effectively use Microsoft Teams for your online classes and future online school events. Okay, if you have questions po, just send in your questions lang po sa chat box and later on we'll answer them. Now, I would like to call our next speaker again. I would like to call back in Miss Mardy Quaresma para naman po maipagpatuloy natin yung ating discussion for today.
Hi, good morning po ulit sa inyong lahat at maraming salamat po sa mga patuloy na sumusubaybay po sa ating Microsoft Teams webinar for this morning. Ayan, may gusto po akong basahin dito. Napakaganda no kanyang shinare dito, Ms. Zari, about sa recording. Sabi ni Miss Ruth Samsona, yes, napakaganda talaga ang Microsoft Teams dahil merong recordings. Noong nag-training kami, hiningi sa Region 11 ang video at recorded. Mabuti talaga ang Microsoft Teams. So, gaya ng shinare mo, papakadali i-share ng recording, lalo na sa lalo na pag magkakahiwalay kayo. So,
Yes.
pwede silang tawaging team replay. Ayan. So, maraming salamat, Teacher Zari.
Alright, Teacher Mardy. So, sa'yo naman ngayon ang spotlight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, ngayon naman po, magre-recap lang po ako ng onte. So, natapos na po tayo sa T, which is touring the virtual learning environment, yung navigate the interface, create and manage channels, teams and channels, and then si Ms. Zari sa kanyang enhancing class engagement, yung schedule and managing an online meeting, posting conversations and announcements, and yung last is yung kanyang Teams live event. Now, for the next part naman po ay ng ating team, which is yung ating letter A, applying teaching strategies. So for this part po, ang ating pong mga next slide please. Ayan, ang ating naman pong mga topics na i-cover ay yung may nagsabi po kanina yung about sa OneNote. So, i-share ko po sa inyo yung about OneNote notebooks, store and sharing files, collaboration in creating and editing files, small group discussion kung paano po natin yan magagawa sa ating online classes, at yung iba pong third-party applications na pwede po nating may gamit para sa ating online classes na makakatulong po para mas maging engaging ang ating online classes. So, let's continue our session now. Let's move on to the next slide. Keeping OneNote notebooks. So, ang class notebook po ay very helpful yan dahil sa pag-organize ng ating class handouts, quizzes, and notes. At pag meron po tayong class notebook, mas madali po yung pag-retrieve po ng information and ng lessons, lalong-lalo na sa ating mga estudyante at syempre para na rin po sa ating mga teachers. Now, please watch our next video to know about class notebook. Okay. While waiting lang po, again, may nagtanong how to schedule a meeting in Teams live event. So, it's the same po as setting up a meeting ng normal meeting. Kailangan nyo lang pong i-click is yung live event yung isineschedule nyo. So, same po, go to the calendar tab and makakapag-schedule po kayo doon ng inyong live event. Ayan. So, Miss Maria Teresa, good day po. Good day din po sa inyo. Watching from Maubog Integrated School, Pantukan, Davao de Oro. Ayan, magandang umaga po. Ayan, yung kanyang aking binasa kanina. Eto. Eto, may mga nagsasabi rin na they are always using Microsoft Teams as our meeting platform by Miss Lina Maiso. At ito po, again, from Miss Ruth Samsona, we experienced or used the Microsoft Teams during our virtual meeting and online training in our school, Santo Tomas National High School, Santo Tomas, Davao del Norte. Ayan. So, marami po talagang use at gamit ang ating Microsoft Teams, lalong-lalo na hindi po tayo makapagsama-sama physically. Lahat po tayo ay nasa iba't ibang lugar. Ayan. Ito na po ulit ang ating class notebook.
Welcome to your class notebook. When setting up a class notebook, you can choose either a blank notebook or from an existing notebook. Now, let's set up a notebook. You will be prompted about the automatic setting of a class notebook, which is collaboration space, content library, teacher-only section, and a note page for each student. Collaboration space is a space where everyone in your class can share, organize, and collaborate. Content library is a read-only space where teachers can share handouts with students. Teacher-only section is a teacher's own private space in the notebook. In here, only the teacher can view and access files. And lastly, the student's notebook. These are student note pages, but they couldn't see each other's work and only the teacher could view it. In a student's note page, there are sections already included, but as a teacher, you can customize it according to your class needs. The first page that you will see is a welcome note about a class notebook and how to use it. Here are the contextual command buttons. These are the sections, and these are pages within the section. To make your notebook more interactive and fun, you can insert elements such as a table, file, picture, link, audio. You and your students can also write and put in feedbacks on each page by using the draw feature. You can set a rule that red ink is only meant for your use and other colored inks could be used by the students. In doing math works, you have options to write an equation or to type it. Select your equation and to tap the math buttons. If you're using one of the all of math assistance features that could show solutions and graphs to math equations. Don't during tests or homework. Another feature is the Immersive Reader, which is a free tool that uses proven techniques to improve reading for people regardless of their age or ability.
facilitating collaboration in Microsoft Teams. Do you have any questions or clarifications?
Lastly, there is a feature called Distribute Page. In group distribution, you can choose who among your students will get a certain handout by creating groups. Individual distribution is one at a time. But if you just want to give the same handout to everybody, just click Distribute Page, then choose which section should the handout go into. While the handout is being distributed, you can check your handouts or your students' work. I suggest that you do this before classes start so that you won't have to face syncing problem during class time.
If you click Manage Notebooks, you can find additional settings to your class notebook. Yan. So, ayan po ang ating class notebook. Now, for the next part, next is collaborating and creating files, which produces or increases productivity in class. So, with the use of this, yung students po natin, pwede po nilang ma-access yung files at madali po kay teacher na makapag-share ng files. So, possible po to pag gagamitin po natin yung Files tab, yung OneDrive, or if possible, yung other cloud storage apps. So, please watch po the next slide.
This is how a typical general channel looks like. To access your files, go to the Files tab. In here, you can upload your files one at a time or as a folder. Alternatively, you can also access your files through other cloud storage apps such as Dropbox and Google Drive, only if allowed by your team's admin. Another way to go to your files is through the Files tab located at the left side of your Teams window. You can log in to your OneDrive account and copy files from it. For example, I have a file about systems of equations that I will copy to my algebra class. And I will choose the general channel. After clicking copy, you can go back to the Teams channel to check your file. Otherwise, there is a pop-up notification that will tell you that it has been copied already. Remember, for you to locate files easily, go to a specific channel's Files tab.
Okay, so now naman po for the next part is kung paano po tayo makapag-brainstorming and mind mapping within the Microsoft Teams application. So possible po yan using Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Next slide, please.
In this channel, you will see how group brainstorming could be done in Microsoft Teams through in-app editing of PowerPoint and Word files. In here, I posted a message that says Group A will do algebraic expression match document file and Group B will do algebra quick check PowerPoint file. Kindly proceed to Files tab. The files are already uploaded before class. Once you open the PowerPoint file at the upper right corner, you will see the students who have opened the file and can go to their location. Just like here, I know that Juan de la Cruz is in slide 1. After checking one group, you could close the file and proceed to open the other file, which is the Word file. Again, upper right corner, you'll know which students are working on the file and can go to their location. You can see what your students are typing in it as well. So just like here, if you want to call a student's attention or have a conversation within the application, click the conversation button. So for example, I want to call on one's attention to continue his work. It is advisable to use mention to directly call someone's attention so that it could notify them. The students can reply in the app just by clicking the conversation button too. When the students replies, you will get a notification about it. Once you close the file, you can see the last person who modified it and when it was last modified. If we go back to the Posts tab of this channel, you will see a record of the conversation within the file. This will
Okay, so yun po ang ating Word and PowerPoint collaboration. Now, possible din po ang small group discussion sa ating online classes via Microsoft Teams. So, lalong-lalo na po pag mayroon tayong mga group discussions, mga guided group discussions, effective po yan for peer learning and instruction. So, with Microsoft Teams, possible po yan. Pwede tayong gumamit yung private channels na shinare kanina ni Miss Mika and yung new feature na breakout rooms which was rolled out earlier this year na kung saan ang ating mga estudyante po ay makakapag-express ng kanilang thoughts sa isa't isa, ng kanilang mga ideas within a small group of peers. So please watch the next slide kung paano po natin ma-access ang breakout rooms during the meeting. Start the meeting to have an access to breakout rooms. Only the organizer will have this breakout room icon on their toolbar. In creating a breakout room, you will be asked the number of rooms you need and how to assign the participants to their rooms. I will create 2 rooms, but you can create up to 50 rooms. If you choose automatically, Teams will randomly assign the people into the rooms. If you choose manually, as the organizer, you will have complete autonomy to decide the grouping. A breakout room pane will appear. I will click the 3 dots icon beside a specific room. In here, you will have room options to open, change the room name, and delete. You can also reassign a member to another group just by ticking their name
and then clicking Assign. More options can be found when you click the 3 dots icon beside the breakout room label. In here, you can recreate rooms, meaning to delete all rooms and to start from scratch, and to set room settings. I've turned on the option to automatically move participants to their breakout rooms, while I've turned off the option for participants to go back to the main meeting on their own. When all settings are done, just click Start Rooms. Participants will automatically leave the main meeting and into their breakout rooms. If a participant is late, you can assign him to the room you want them to join. While the breakout sessions are ongoing, you can create an announcement. The announcement will be sent straight to their chat box. Here is how it will look like to the participants. You can also monitor their sessions by joining a room. Once you are done in one room, just click Leave, and you'll get back to the main meeting. Click Resume so that you won't be on hold in the main meeting. Before you close the room, it is best to create an announcement first. Once you've clicked the Close Room button, the breakout rooms will be notified about it. This is how the notification will appear. Now, let me show you the other room settings earlier. I've turned off the option to automatically move participants to their breakout rooms, while I've turned on the option for participants to go back to the main meeting on their own. After clicking Start Rooms, the participants are still in the main meeting. Let's look at Juan de la Cruz desktop. He is notified that his assigned room is open. He can either click the notification or the Join Room button found on his toolbar. If he wants to go back to the main meeting, he has to click Return. If he clicks the red button, he will be disconnected from the meeting. The last option I'll show you is Recreate Room. Once you click it, you will be prompted with the same dialog box options that you have seen when I click the breakout room icon. And the previous rooms are now deleted. This time, I will click to add participants manually. The same breakout room pane will appear. Just a reminder that if you have a lot of participants in the call, this option will be tedious to do as you have to manually add the participants one at a time. So that's our breakout rooms during the meeting sa inyong actual online synchronous session. Pero it's also possible to have your group discussions, yung class grouping nila, kapag gusto nyo ng asynchronous. So they could use the private channels. So pag gusto nyo pong mas bigyan ng autonomy yung inyong mga students sa kanilang class grouping, just like what you do in your online classes na sila mismo nagsiset ng date and time kung kailan sila magmi-meeting, pwede po nyo gamitin yung private channels. So please watch this slide. Microsoft Teams can be used for small group discussions by creating private channels. First, let's create a channel with the name Group A without a description and then set the privacy to private. Afterwards, choose the students you would want to include here. I have decided to have 5 members in each group. Click Add and then Done. Do the same steps for Group B. Choose 5 members for this group too. If you go to Group A and then click the people icon at the upper right corner, you will see the members of this private group. As an owner of this team, you are automatically added in this private channel. The same thing goes with Group B. You can visit all private channels and you can see or observe the conversations that the students are having. If you notice that there's nothing much going on in the group, you could start posting questions to guide them. If they have started the group meeting, you could join in there as well. You can also see students who are possibly taking the lead in the group discussion. In the teacher's view, the teacher can enter both groups A and B, whereas in the student's view,
Okay, so that's for our small group discussions. Next is using third-party applications to enhance po our teaching strategies online. So first, I will show you po kung paano ma-access ang ating third-party applications sa ating class teams. Next slide, please.
on your team's group, go to your VSpace. Click the plus sign icon. It will open a dialog box where you can access all available third-party applications within Microsoft Teams. If you have specific apps in mind, you may search them. For example, Flipgrid, Kahoot, and Wakelet. Alternatively, you may click the apps icon found at the lower left of the Teams window. You will see a catalog of accessible third-party apps. Go to the Education category, and all available education-related apps will be shown for your reference. You can also read a short overview of each application.
So for our first po is Flipgrid, which is very catchy and siguro talaga magugustuhan to natin mga students and it's free at medyo similar siya sa TikTok. Next slide, please. Ayan. Okay, so to access, please watch this video.
The first application that we will explore is Flipgrid, which is a free app. Flipgrid will encourage learners to create and share creative video outputs. To get started, add Flipgrid in the tab. Afterwards, enter the flip code that you have created. For added security, you may add a password to the Flipgrid before the students can access it. Once logged in, they can start recording videos right away. They can view each other's posts and can reply to their classmates' videos. To create a Flipgrid code for your class, you have to log in via the web browser. In here, you can set the details including group name and join code, permissions whether for private or public, features, and personalization of the Flipgrid.
So this Flipgrid, pwede po siya maging another form of open forum discussions within your class in a different format po. So the next one is Kahoot. So this is another interactive game that you could conduct real time with your students po. Please watch this video.
The second application is Kahoot. There is a free version, but to access more features, you have to subscribe. This is an interactive game that students will enjoy. After adding and logging in the application, your Kahoot quizzes will appear. You can choose to present it on the spot during your online class meeting or to assign the quiz to the class. If you choose to assign it, you have to put in a deadline for the challenge. You can choose to change some options and to write a note to your students. After clicking create, the quiz will be sent to the class and it will be posted in the posts tab of the channel.
Okay, and the last one po is Wakelet. If you want, pag mag-share po kayo ng mga different resources, media resources, images, websites na nakita nyo po online, you could put them here in one collection and mas madali po yung sharing sa inyong students. So please watch this.
The last application that I will share with you is Wakelet. This is a free app too. This is a tool that allows teachers to take control of the content that they plan to share with their students. First, enter the Wakelet URL to add it as a tab in the WeSpace of the Teams group. Teachers can save content and organize it into collections. You can handpick and filter resources from the internet that you and your students can collaborate and transform into digital storytelling. Here is an example of a Wakelet collection. You can add resources such as videos, images, links, and more.
Okay, so that's it po for our teaching strategies in using Microsoft Teams. So these are just some of the teaching strategies that you could use in Microsoft Teams. And I hope po na it will help you as you move forward in your online teaching. Now, again po, may I call Miss Mika Ranyoco to continue po our discussion about measuring students' learning in terms of assignments, grades, evaluations, and quizzes.
All right, thank you, Miss Mardy. So I'm back again. This is actually the last part of this session. So napakarami na nating natutunan, but just to answer the question of one of our participants here, sabi ma-access pa rin po ba sa LMS ang webinar na ito? Yes po, later you will be given instructions on how to access that in your LMS course po. Okay? So, ayan. So, without further ado, I would like to share with you how to create and view and even grade an assignment and a quiz in Microsoft Teams. So, let us watch some of our demo videos right here. Okay. So yeah. So the reason why we're showing you demonstration videos instead of doing demonstrations live is because para yung ating bandwidth din is ma-focus all on yung playing ng videos natin instead of opening a lot of different apps and tabs at the same time. So since kailangan namin open, for example, PowerPoint and Teams and yung browser namin and kung ano pang apps while doing the training. So what we do actually during our trainings, not just for this webinar, but for other organizations as well, is we record some of the important parts of the demonstration para makita nila yung talagang mga specific examples that we use and also para mas ready, kumbaga, itong mga content namin whenever we need to share it to educators like you. So here we have a video. Let's watch this one. This is about creating assignments in Teams.
Now let's focus on the simplest way of creating an assignment in Teams. Look at the interface of our class team again. In this general channel, we can find the assignment tab where you can see upcoming, graded, and draft assignments. Click Drafts to view assignments that have been created but not yet assigned. Click Assigned to view upcoming assignments displayed by order of due date. Upcoming assignments are any work left to grade or assignments scheduled to be posted on a specific date. Click Mark to see assignments that have been graded and returned to students. To create an assignment, click Create, then click Assignment. In this window, you can enter the details of your assignment. Type the title of your assignment, for this is a required field. You may also add a category to help you find the assignment easily later. Provide more information for the assignment. The rest of the fields are optional. Type the instructions in the Instructions field. You may also edit its format if you want to. Click Add Resources to add worksheets, supplementary materials, or sample assignments. You may choose the file from your OneDrive, your class notebook, a website link, or create a new Word document, PowerPoint presentation, or Excel spreadsheet, or choose an existing assignment from other teams. You can also upload a file from your device. Once it's uploaded, click Done to insert it in your assignment. Enter the maximum points students can get in the Points field. You can also add a rubric to help you grade the assignment and set expectations for your students. You can upload a ready-made rubric or create your own. Enter the title and description of your new rubric. Click Yes beside points to view and edit the points for each performance level. You can also edit the performance levels. Type the general description and specific criteria. Click the plus sign beside the performance levels to add a new column if you want to add another level. Click the delete column icon to delete column. Click the plus sign under the description to add a new row if you want to add another description. You can also click Evenly Distribute Weights to reset all your percentages and give equal weights to each criterion or change and enter different weights for each criterion. Click Attach to add the rubric to your assignment or Cancel to discard it. You can also click the Assign To field to select the class team and students you want to assign it to. You can also change the date due and the time due, or edit the whole assignment timeline by clicking Edit. If you have already plotted the schedule for all your assignments, you can create them in advance, then schedule to assign or post it in a future date, so the assignment notification will only pop up on your assigned date. If you want to give the students grace period for late submissions, you may choose a different close date wherein late hand-ins will be allowed until the chosen close date. Click Done. You can configure additional settings below. Once you're done editing your assignment, you can click Discard to delete it, Save to save it as a draft, or schedule to post the assignment on the day you specified. You can see the assignment you have just made in the Assignments tab under Assigned. You can also click the Filter button beside Upcoming to see the categories you have made and view assignments by category. This is an example of a student's submitted work if you have attached a Word document as the resource file. This is an example of a student's work if you have attached an existing notebook in your OneNote class notebook as the resource file. Now let's create a quiz. You can send a forms quiz to students using the Assignments feature. Here, students can take quizzes and teacher can grade them without leaving Teams. Click Create to create a quiz. You will then be prompted to select a form from the existing forms or create a new form by clicking New Form. If you select New Form, a new web browser window will open at forms.microsoft.com. Here, you can create a survey form by clicking New Form or a quiz by clicking New Quiz. Let's click New Quiz. Here, you can change the title of your quiz and add questions by clicking Add New. Once you click that, you will see options such as choice for multiple choice questions, text for short answer enumeration and identification type of questions, rating for survey, date for questions requiring dates as answers, and more. If you choose choice, you can type the questions and choices here. You can edit the points and choose if you want the question to have multiple answers or if you want the question to be required or not. You can also duplicate, delete, and rearrange the questions. Add more questions by clicking Add New. You may click Preview to see how the students will see the quiz and theme to change the overall design of the quiz. Click Share to see multiple options for sharing. No need to click Save because as long as you're online, Forms will automatically save any changes. Just close the website and go back to the Assignments tab. Back in the Assignments tab, let's do what we did earlier. Click Create, then Quiz, so we can choose the quiz we have just made. Once you click Next, you will go to the same assignment editor we used to create an assignment. You can add the title, description, and assignment timeline here as if you're creating an assignment. The only difference is that the quiz is now added as your resource. Click Assign to post your quiz on the scheduled date. A notification about your new quiz will then appear. Let's see how the students can view and answer the quiz. This is your students' view. They can click the notification to view the quiz, or they can go to the Assignments tab and click the quiz to see the instructions. Once they click the form, they will see the quiz you have just made. Let's pretend we are students and answer the quiz. After answering the quiz, the students will be able to see their scores immediately. Now back to the teacher's view. Click the assignment to see the students who have finished and turned in the quiz. Click the student's name to view the quiz. Here, you can see the items they got wrong and correct, how much time they took in completing the quiz, and their auto-graded multiple choice responses. Forms will already have calculated points, especially for multiple choice questions, but you can edit the score to award partial or extra credit or grade short answer or essay questions. Click Close to save the score and feedback and return to the list of students' names. Click the student's name, then click Return to post the student's score and return their graded quiz. The student's name will be automatically placed under Graded. To grade assignments, go to the Assignments tab and click any assignment you want to check. Click the student's name to see their work. Here, you can see the student's work if they have turned it in already. You can view the assignment timeline. You can also give them feedback and points here. To view other students' work without going back to the list earlier, click the left and right buttons beside the student's name. You can also export the students' grades to Excel. Another way to grade them is to go to the Grades tab. Here, you will see the assignments are ordered by due date with the nearest date at the beginning. Each cell provides you with information on the student's status with the assignment or the points you have given. Click a cell to edit points or take action on a student's assignment. Select More Options or three dots beside the cell, then click Open Student Work to open the same window earlier where you can give feedback and points. You can also click the student's name to see his grades, work, and status in all assignments. You can export this specific student's grades by clicking Export to Excel. If you want the quickest way to give feedback and points to your whole class without opening the student's work one by one, click the Assignments tab and click any assignment you want to check. In the same window where you can see the lists of the students' names, you can click To Mark to see the assignments you have not graded yet. Or click Marked to see the assignments you have already graded. Whether you have not yet marked the students' works or you have already marked and returned their works, you can still give or edit feedback and points by clicking the toggle feedback icon and points field. You can also search for the student's name in the Search Students field. Click Return to give your feedback and points to the students. In the same window, you can click Student View to see how the students will see the assignment details when they receive the assignment notification. You can also click Edit Assignment if you want to change or update assignment details in the Assignment Editor window. Once you click Update, your students will receive a notification indicating that assignment details have been modified. Note that you can export the grades of the entire class, of individual students, and of individual assignments. This is an example of the Excel file that will be downloaded once you click Export to Excel. It contains students' information such as the first name, last name, email address, assignment title, points, and feedback. You can copy this to your school's standard grading sheet or use this as the final grading sheet.
Alright, so we are now familiar with how to create quizzes and assignments. And now I just want to show you a super brief lang na summary points of what we have already discussed. So later, we'll show you instructions, pero just to say that ito pong si Microsoft Teams is a very helpful communication and collaboration tool for your class. So ang dami po nating natutunan teaching strategies kanina and even how to create assignments and quizzes. Alam na po natin paano mag-grade. So no need to send individual pa na files through email sa mga estudyante natin. All of those things we can do here in Microsoft Teams. So kahit ano pa po yung mga third-party applications na alam ninyo, if you want to use the class notebook as well, those are all very helpful po para po yung ating class management will be kung hindi the same but better dun sa ating ginagawa sa ating mga physical classes. And so let's move to our certificate. Kanina may questions po tayo dito. Meron po ba tayong certificate na makukuha? Of course po, may makukuha tayo. But today is a special day because aside from the certificate of participation that we're going to get from DepEd, we're also going to get the Microsoft Innovative Educator Certificate. So that's the MIE certificate po. So how do we get this one? First, open a tab in your browser and then type education.microsoft.com. And then next po, just sign in using your Microsoft or Outlook account. If you don't have any account yet, you can create one. And then next, once you have signed into your profile, look for your profile picture on the top right corner and then click your picture and click Redeem Achievement Code. And then next po, we have here the redemption code. window there, you're going to type the code that you see on your screen right there. So that's T-FHA5B5521. So those are all capital letters. So T-FHA5B5521. Just type in there your redemption code, and then next po natin, once you get that, you will have this congratulations message which says that you have completed this training and you are now a certified Microsoft Innovative Educator. And then after that, you can just download that anytime. You can just go to your profile and then view your certificate and just download it po in a PDF format. Alright, so the code is now shown on your screen. You may go now to education.microsoft.com. That is the Microsoft Educator Center. So I hope that you can redeem that. And before we go back to our hosts, before we give the floor back to them, we just want to thank you all for being with us. We saw a lot of your comments. We understand that some of you are already using Microsoft Teams. You already know the virtual learning environment. But we hope that you learned a lot from enhancing class engagement, applying teaching strategies, measuring student learning, and of course, we want to share with you also kanina yung ating mga tips from our hosts. Ayan. So, talking about our hosts, we want to give our floor back again to Sir Jomar and Miss Grace. Ayan. So, let us call on our favorite hosts. Yan. So, may
Yes.
comment recording.
Buti
May
pa dito,
comment
favorite
recording
ako.
na Jack. Kasi nasa comments po kanina, ang ganda raw po ng inyong mga tawa at ngiti. Yan, binabasa ko yung mga comments kanina.
Speaking of comments, no, Teacher Mika, let's take time. Basahin yung iba nilang comments from where you left off para naman kung may tanong sila masagot natin. So I'll start. Ang dami pala. Wait lang guys,
I'll
mahina
start.
po ang kalaban.
Sige, I saw one kung ma-access daw ba ito sa LMS. So yes, ma-access nyo po ito sa PD LMS ng DepEd, which is at training.deped.gov.ph. So tulad po na ating mga nakaraang sessions, all you have to do is log in there with your LMS account, take the course, finish the assessment, and generate your certificate of attendance for today.
Okay, so meron nagsabi kanina, I guess she's from Davao or the Davao region, kasi region 11. Tama naman, no? Tama naman. Region
Tama!
11 is Davao.
Yes.
Yes! may araling panlipunan, teacher will be proud. Pero sabi niya, no, na napakahusay daw ng Microsoft Teams kasi nung nag-meeting sila, kailangan recorded at hinihingi na sa kanila yung recording. So, mabilis daw gawin yung trabaho. So yun po, pwedeng yung i-record yung mga meetings nyo, yung mga, even yung yung mga live event, pwede po yan. So kapag ni-record nyo siya, doon siya mapupunta sa Microsoft Stream. So just make sure lang po na inayos nyo yung privacy setting kung sino makakakita ng inyong mga meeting tsaka ng inyong mga conferences para naman po doble sure tayo na appropriate yung content. So there.
Yeah. I think nasagot naman ng ating mga trainers yung mga questions earlier. So, just a reminder na lang din po sa lahat ng mga nanonood nitong webinar nito. Again, bawat teacher po at bawat student ng Department of Education ay may access sa Microsoft 365. All you have to do is secure your DepEd Office 365 account. So, para po sa mga teachers, pwede nyo pong kunin to sa inyong ITOs. At para naman po sa mga students, pwede nyo pong tanongin ang inyong mga school ICT coordinator. So, napaka-importante po ng account nyo kasi yun yung lisensya nyo sa paggamit ng latest at licensed version ng Microsoft Office. So, sayang yung benefit, gamitin nyo po at pakishare din po sa mga fellow teachers at students nyo na hindi nakapanood ng webinar natin.
May nagtatanong din, Grace, kanina, parang bakit hindi daw gumagana ang kanyang DepEd Office 365 account for Skype. So, si Skype po ngayon, magagamit nyo pa siya for personal reasons. Pero yung tinatawag nating Skype for Business, which is kasi yung Office, yung Office 365 account nyo ay professional yan kasi for work. So, yung Skype for Business, nasa Microsoft Teams na po yan. So, we do highly encourage you na sa Microsoft Teams nyo na po gamitin yung inyong Office 365 account kasi nandun naman din po yung mga features na kinalakihan natin sa Skype, like yung chat feature, yung video conferencing feature, and more actually for your work. So, yun po. Sana po nasagot din namin yon. And last na rin sa akin for my end, Grace, take note po yung binigay ni Teacher Mika na code kasi yun po yung ilalagay nyo sa education.microsoft.com kung gusto nyo po maging Certified Microsoft Innovative Educator. And kaya again, in-explain na po bakit siya importante. This is signed by our Vice President for Education and this is a certificate na internationally known. So usually you get it by taking our free courses and earning 1,000 points and passing the assessment. Kaya kayo magiging CMIE or Certified Microsoft Innovative Educator. But since kayo ay kasama namin for 3 hours in this workshop, yung code na yan entitles you for that certificate. So please do grab it and don't share it sa mga hindi umattend ng session kasi po kayo ang lugi.
Okay, so with that being said, again, nais po namin pasalamatan in behalf of Microsoft. Thank you so much to Audentes Technologies sa pinapangunahan ni Francis Hernandez, ni Teacher Zari, Teacher Mika, at saka si Teacher Mardy. So, tawagin na po natin ang head po ng EdTech Unit from DepEd ICTS is Mr. Mark C. to award a certificate para sa ating speaker. Sir Mark, hello!
Sir Mark! Long time.
Hello po, good morning. Ayan, nice to see you. Ay, good afternoon na pala, nag-12 na pala. Ayan. Afternoon po sa lahat ng ating mga participants na nanonood po ngayon and especially to our partners in Audentes Technologies at ganoon din sa Microsoft Philippines. So, allow me to read the citation for our certificate of appreciation to our speakers for the day. Republika ng Pilipinas, Department of Education, Information and Communications Technology Services, DepEd Complex, Meralco Avenue, Pasig City, awards this certificate of appreciation to Sir Francis Hernandez, the General Manager of Audentes Technologies, for sharing his valuable knowledge as guest speaker during TechTalks Teaming Up for Solutions conducted by the ICTS Educational Technology Unit on April 10, 2021. Given this 10th day of April 2021 in DepEd Central Office, Meralco Avenue, Pasig City, Philippines, with an OUA memo number 00-0421-0032, signed by Abram YC Abanil, Director for ICTS. Yours truly, Head of the ICTS Educational Technology Unit, Mr. Mark Anthony CC, and the Undersecretary for Administration, Yusek Alain Delby Pasqua. Congratulations, Sir Francis. The same citation goes also to Ms. D. Quaresma, the Master Trainer of Audentes Technologies, for sharing her valuable knowledge as guest speaker during Tech Talks Teaming Up for Solution, conducted by the ICTS Educational Technology Unit on April 10, 2021, given this 10th day of April 2021 in DepEd Central Office, Meralco Avenue, Pasig City, Philippines, again with an OUA memo number 00-0421-0032, signed by Director for ICTS, Abram YC Abanil, the Head of ICTS Education and Technology Unit, Mr. Mark Anthony CC, and the Undersecretary for Administration, Yusek Alain Delby Pasqua. For another speaker for the day, the same citation goes to Ms. Micaela Ranyoco, the Master Trainer of Audentes Technologies, for sharing her valuable knowledge as guest speaker during Tech Talks Teaming Up for Solutions conducted by the ICTS Education and Technology Unit on April 10, 2021, given this 10th day of April 2021 in DepEd Central Office, Meralco Avenue, Pasig City, Philippines, with the OUA memo number 00-0421-0032, signed by the Director for ICTS, Director Abram YC Abanil, the Head of ICTS Education and Technology Unit, Mr. Mark Anthony CC, and the Undersecretary for Administration, Yusek Alain Delby Pasqua. And lastly, the same citation goes to Ms. Zarina Dalus, the Master Trainer of Audentes Technologies, again for sharing her valuable knowledge as guest speaker during Tech Talks Teaming Up for Solutions conducted by the ICTS Educational Technology Unit On April 10, 2021, given this 10th day of April 2021, in DepEd Central Office, Meralco Avenue, Pasig City, Philippines, with an OUA memo number 00-0421-0032, signed by Director for ICTS, Director Abram Y.C. Abanil, the head of ICTS Education and Technology Unit, Mr. Mark Anthony C.C., and the Undersecretary for Administration, Yusek Alain Del de Pascua. In behalf of the OUA, ICTS EdTech Unit, maraming salamat po sa inyong pagsuporta sa programang ito at sama-sama tayong magsusulong para mapagtagumpayan natin ang pagkatuto sa paggamit ng makabagong teknolohiya sa pag-aaral gamit ng ating mga mag-aaral at ng mga guro. Maraming salamat po sa ating mga speakers.
Yay! Thank you so much, Sir Mark C, for that. And, kami rin po sa Microsoft, we echo and we are, continuously working with offices like the DepEd EdTech Unit to also continuously share what we know and of course, reach as many teachers, diba? Kasi nga para kahit nasa ganitong sitwasyon po tayo ngayon, at least we are really making an effort, para at least ma-equip ang ating selves. So, gaya nga ng sabi natin kanina earlier ni Jomar. So, okay, ito naka-paskill po ngayon na slide. Ito po ang evaluation natin for today's session. So, if you can help us answer the form at tinyurl.com/techtalks9. Let us know what you think. And let us know what you would want to hear from us in our future training. So, ako na rin po mag-a-announce, meron po tayong session ulit mamayang hapon. Pinapangunahan po ito ng ating mga Microsoft Education Ambassadors. So, that would go live at 1 p.m. dito pa rin po sa DepEd EdTech Unit page. Okay? So, lunchtime na. Joms, any final words? After you then, Audentes?
Yes, konting patikim lang na for the rest of April and for the rest of May hanggang June actually, naka-distribute na ang magiging topics nyo. So please stay tuned for more Tech Talks kasi we're going to talk about and bringing a lot of industry experts. May local and may international speakers ulit tayo, covering mula sa social emotional learning hanggang sa technical capacity building. So it's a very exciting series of content. And maraming salamat po Sir Mark C for giving us a platform para magbigay ito sa mga teachers, and alam ko na appreciate nila to kasi ito yung kailangan natin now that everything is remote. So, back to you, Francis.
Thank you, Sir Jomar, Ma'am Grace, and Sir Mark C, and the rest of ETU department from DepEd. Maraming salamat, and especially to all those teachers across the Philippines that spend their morning and afternoon, because right now it's already lunchtime. I know lahat po tayo is going to lunch na. But again, thank you at nag-allocate po kayo ng oras po with Audentes Technologies, with Microsoft, and at the same time with DepEd ETU department. Okay? So with that, we look forward to seeing you again in our next coming events po together with Microsoft and ETU.
Bye-bye.
Okay, same time next week, 9 a.m. Maraming salamat po. Have a good lunch, everyone. And stay safe. Bye!
Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Stay healthy. Bye!
Stay healthy.